as part of this celebration. I know we've all been waiting for this moment for a long time and are thrilled to finally meet and hear from Dr. RSP. I've been hearing stories about him since I was 13, and he has continually inspired my family, friends, and me for all that he for society. In 2018, I had the honor of meeting Purna Malavat in Washington, D.C. The girl who could not afford to buy slippers to wear to school became the youngest girl in the world to climb Mount Everest. She continues to hold that record, standing undefeated. All of that became possible not just because of her bravery and hard work, but also because of the vision and commitment by Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar. Purna was not the only one. She was just beginning. Many more social welfare school students made it to national and international levels and made India proud. Many who could never step out of their remote villages went on to pursue education not only in IITs, NITs, AIMS, Delhi University, and other top tier universities in India, but also in countries like the US, UK, Australia, Japan, and more. There are so many inspiring stories to share and so much to tell, as I'm sure you'll hear today from all our guest speakers. And any more time of yours, I want to welcome you all again and request you to hold your breath as we have a wonderful agenda set for this evening. We'll start the event with the American National Anthem, followed by the Indian National Anthem. To take forward the program from here, I'll hand over the mic to our wonderful MC for the night, Mr. Luke Raj Peddapalli. Thank you all and welcome again.
Good evening, everyone. We welcome you all to this wonderful event that we have been waiting for so long to meet Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar, meet and greet today. So thank you all for joining this evening, and we'll start the program with the national anthem, and I request Baba and team to lead those national anthem for us. May I request you all to please stand on our feet, and we'll start with the national anthem. Brother Baba is going to help with that.
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleam. Christmas stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave.
Indian National Anthem.
अधिनायक जय भारत भाग्य विधाता राम सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उत्कल जलधि तरंगा शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभाशिष मागे गाहे तव जय जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हिंद
So thank you. Check. Hey, thank you, Baba Garu and the team for leading the national anthem. This time, so we recently have celebrated our Indian Independence Day, 76th Independence Day. And right before that, in the news was a very horrific incident about a 9-year-old boy from Rajasthan, Indra Kumar Meghwal. He was brutally killed for drinking water from a teacher's pot. So at this time, I wanted to remember Indra Kumar Meghwal and also the people who are persecuted and killed without any cause by the people who are intolerant of their caste, religion, or creed. At this time, I want you all to please stand on feet one more time and we will observe 1 minute of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, before we start the agenda of the program, I just wanted to I just wanted to please everybody to please occupy the seats in the front tables. That way, if anybody is coming late, they can have the seats in the back side. And please mute your phones. Maybe you can put it in the vibration mode. That way, when our the beloved speakers, we have like list of speakers here. When they are speaking, we don't want to interrupt. And I want everyone to humbly request everyone to remain seated unless you need to go out for any urgent work. And we have restrooms just outside of this door on your left side. And so we have the program, we have some of the speakers who are going to share about RSP and also, and there will be an introduction about the Global NRI Forum. So when I call, please come and come to the stage from this side when I call your name, and then you can exit from here. Please enter from this side, and then you can exit from here, so that we don't distract the video or photos. So with that, I would like to call Rai Mantena. Rai Mantena Garu, he is one of the Global NRI Forum, the lead member. He has been involved with the Global NRI Forum. And he's going to introduce what is Global NRI Forum and what do we do. And this time I request Mr. Roy onto the stage.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? On the back, all the way? It's hard to see. The lights are focusing. And good evening, Atlanta. And I lived in America for 25 years. And my first visit to America 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, this is my second visit. You can imagine how important this visit is. So my name is Roy Mantina. I'm from Boston area, work for JP Morgan, back home from Nizamabad. And thank you for this opportunity for me to speak on this historic occasion. And I'm going to introduce Global NRI Forum, what it means, and what is the future and the goals of this organization. Before I go into introducing Global NRI Forum, and the reason what brought me here onto this podium, many people don't have this opportunity. And I feel myself blessed, lucky, or whatever you call, it is because of education. What Dr. Ambedkar said, education propels a person on the path of struggle. And he said, education is what makes a person fearless, teaches him the lessons of unity, makes him aware of his rights, and inspires him to struggle for his right. He believed that education is a movement. It is not for jobs. It is not for livelihood. It is for the movement. And if it does not fulfill, and we don't call that as education. And also, our greatest leader, the Martin Luther King said, the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of education, that's Martin Luther King said. And also, another famous leader, Malcolm X said, education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. And Thomas Jefferson said, be educated so you can change the world. So imagine all these leaders across the world, different backgrounds, they just believed that education is the key. And here I am today, I am supporting the person who believes 100% without any question is Dr. S Praveen Kumar. And let's give him applause. Thank you, Dr. S Praveen Kumar. So when we are thinking about what is the title for this meeting and how we can brand him, how we can introduce him to this country, to the world, and we came up with this call, Man Behind Million Smiles. And what is responsible for those smiles? Can somebody from audience say, what, in addition to Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar being a committed, sincere, tirelessly working, what brought those smiles on those innocent, needy kids? Can somebody say? One reason. Absolutely. Education. There are many stories, and we have a lot of speakers ahead. And I firmly believe education and his agenda is number one is the education. He has many, healthcare, social justice, jobs, and so on. But his number one is the education. And thank you. And I move on to introducing this Global NRI Forum. I've been in this country for 25 years. I said before, I always felt lonely. I'm busy, I work hard, and I have a lot of friends, but I always felt lonely. Something is missing. Something is missing in life. For 10 to 15 years, I was wondering how to fill that gap, how to fill that void. How can I become you know, a person that's surrounded by the people that have with the similar values, similar beliefs. Many years I struggled. I spoke to many friends what we can do. And we tried many things. It didn't work out. And finally, R.S. Praveen Kumar resigns from his job one day and he go. In all the questions I had for years, all the vacuum I had for decades, and all of a sudden it vanished. And Global NRI Forum born. And the Global NRI Forum has no bounds and no limits, one single agenda: get the like-minded people together. The people that believe justice for all, the people that believe education is the key, the people that believe the humanity, the people that believe love, compassion, kindness. These are the, we have a mission and objectives, but these are the unspoken values and beliefs, objectives of Global NRI Forum. Anybody ask like many times in this 1 year period, Roy, what is Global NRI Forum does? I used to take 5 minutes. Even Venkat Marozu, Uma, and all the friends, we all work together. We used to take like 5-10 minutes to explain, this is, and in one of the meeting, R.S. Praveen Kumar jumped in and said, it's a network of networks. It is a network of, I was in Chicago, a cameraman said, we have 45 organizations in Chicago on different lines and different objectives and no goals and no destination. And Global NRI Forum has goal. Global NRI Forum is a destination, and we are going to fight for justice. We are going to fight for education. We are going to fight for healthcare. We are going to fight for the smiles on the faces of those innocent people in India, elsewhere, anywhere. So please join us. We are on Google and we are on Facebook. We have an email, globalnrisforum@gmail.com. And come, work with us, bring your ideas, bring your thoughts. And again, we are telling this organization has no bounds and limits, no caste, no religion, and we are not going to judge you. You come as you are. We are going to love you, we are going to embrace you, we take your values, and we are going to work with you. And coming back to the Global NRI Forum, how we are connected to R.S. Praveen Kumar, we believe in the same thing what we believe. We believe in the same thing what Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar believes. As Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is no justice everywhere. He left his job. He left his bright future. He came to be a leader, to bring justice to all those people who are in the dark. And on this occasion, once again, I'm requesting you all, appealing you all to join hands with Global NRI Forum to support, to work with Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. I was introduced to Global NRI Forum through Brother J. Karnila. He added me to the group, and then Vasant, followed by Vasant Namu. And then there was a call with Roy. He was saying it took more than half an hour with all the questions I have about what is exactly Global NRI Forum. And also followed by some calls with Uma. So it is mainly paying back to the society. That's what we have been doing. And there are all like-minded people paying back to the society. And then when this all introduction to Dr. RSP happened, political power is the key to all the problems. And to contribute to socio, educational, economic, cultural, political upliftment of underprivileged communities and people, the purpose of GNF is just to support the leaders who do that. Thank you, Roy, on again. And at this time, I'm going to invite Angela Jetty to talk about why we support Dr. RSP.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar is an exemplary former IPS officer and Secretary of Telangana Social Welfare Residential Educational Institution Society, who found his true calling in supporting and uplifting children from the most underprivileged sections of society. Dr. Kumar started the movement Sweros based on the ideologies of Jyotirao Phule and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. SWERO stands for Social Welfare Arrows, which means that the sky is the limit and there is no reverse gear or no looking back or standing down. Through his introduction of the P5 model in social welfare residential schools, he has added various programs for enrichment, such as Voice for Girls, mountaineering, horse riding, filmmaking, and many more programs that has led to the development of real-world skills outside, in addition to academics. In the last few years, the Swear movement has spread among these marginalized sections through social media and also public campaigns. It has now grown into a movement that has helped people find a sense of pride and esteem in society. He is a visionary who believes in empowering the common people, and he can provide the right direction to the people of Telangana. We wish him all the success in his patriotic endeavors and selfless service. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. So we heard about Swaros many times. And so that is the man behind Million Smiles, Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar. And the people who studied in social welfare schools and colleges when he was a secretary. And we heard about many news and in the speeches, but we have one person in our midst who can testify what Swaros means and how Dr. RSP impacted. This time I request John Carney to come forward and share his experience.
Good evening, Atlanta. I'm so happy here today to share a few words about R.S. Praveen Kumar Sar Garu and the relation I have with Swaro. I studied in one of the social welfare schools. First of all, my name is John Karne, and back in India, I'm from Hyderabad, and I studied in one of the social welfare schools, which is in Hatnura, and it's in Medak district. And also, I did my college. Uh, I did my college in Sheikhpet district, which is in Hyderabad district. So, and thank you so much, the lead team, for giving me this opportunity to share few experiences in the Swaro and social welfare departments. First of all, sir, welcome, sir, to the Atlanta. I'm so happy we are enjoying your presence here with us today in Atlanta. We are preparing for this event for at least 2 months. I'm so excited to speak here today. Main thing is when I was studying in social welfare schools, by the time somebody was our secretary, not the Praveen Kumar sir, because I completed my education in intermediate education in 2007. So by the time somebody was the secretary, and by the time we did not have a kind of proper guidance. We had education only. It was like limit to the education and somewhat like here there, ups and down, but not like boosting. It's not like kind of supporting, encouraging like that. We used to go by our own minds. We used to go by our own way. We used to find our own ways to do whatever we wanted to do. So I was kind of jealous. Oh, we didn't have a Praveen Kumar sir was our secretary by the time. But I proudly say my things like in my family, like around 15 people, like cousins, whatever they are. They all studied in social welfare department, social welfare schools in various branches like Medchal, Narsingi, uh, and Daulatabad, Hatnura, Sheikhpet, like that. There are many branches. Swaro is like social welfare schools are like around 300 by the time when we are doing a school. 300 schools in throughout Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, like combined state. So the main thing is regarding the social welfare schools, like I'm saying, 15 siblings were studying. I saw like drastic change in the education system, like in our brothers, sisters' education system. They used to share their stories, what they are experiencing in the social welfare schools. By the time Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar sir was the secretary, he introduced so many new things, like he not only gave importance to education, he also gave importance to the other cultural activities. Like we did not experience those cultural activities, like filmmaking, sports. You might know a few people like Purna, Anand. They are like from my school. I proudly say that they climbed the Everest in the age of 13 and 14. I proudly say that they are from my school. And this was a change. Not only this one, like like poor people who can't bear the expenses, who can't bear the educational financial needs, they are getting the medical seats, they are getting the engineering seats in the, not only in India, like in the foreign countries like America, United States, Australia. We did not see those drastic development, drastic change when when we were in the school, when we were doing our school. But when R.S. Praveen Kumar sir came and took charge of education minister, like a secretary of Telangana social welfare residential schools, like I saw like many of the fruits from the like from students. I also I used to go to some of the schools because I did not have a proper guidance what to choose, what to what to select the path after completing the secondary education or primary education. I used to go to schools like this. I used to kind of giving guidance, proper guidance, what to take in the next steps, like what government is giving us, what kind of reservation we are having in the society. I wanted to kind of share my experiences with them, and I wanted to answer their questions. I wanted to show the right path to select the good way, so to select the good path in their careers. One day I thought I wanted to bring this to R.S. Praveen Kumar sir, and he was very near to us because I used to live in Mehdipatnam. Mehdipatnam is very close to Masap Tank. It's like a 3 kilometers away, and his office is very reachable. R.S. Praveen Kumar sir's office is very reachable. I used to go because one of his PA is Durga Prasad. He is my school senior. So I used to have a kind of easy access to meet Praveen Kumar sir, and also one of the chamber member, Sharma sir. Sharma, he was our principal, and he used to work for Praveen Kumar sir. So I used to have a easy access to go and share few words, like a few experiences what students are facing. So I wanted to bring that information, sir. I have a plan. I wanted to do this to the society where I came from. And then by the time sir introduced me to the Swaro. Until that, I did not know the Swaro. I used to go by own. But when sir introduced me to the Swaro and some key people in Hyderabad, I used to work with them in the Swaro. So why I'm sharing this story, the school story, is like, before me, he had a vision. I was thinking nobody's there, nobody's going there, nobody is there to share, kind of showing the good way, showing the right path to the intermediate students or 10th class students. But when I shared this experience with Praveen Kumar sir, he introduced me to the Swaro, and he told me, we already having this kind of vision, we are doing it, and I joined the team. Thank you, sir. That time you introduced me to the Swaro, and like I'm saying, he already had the vision. That's what is a main thing I wanted to say. He already had a vision how to do and what to do, what would be the next key steps to the students and how they will grow in their careers. So this was the main experience uh, with me, with the RS Praveen Kumar sir and also Swab. And thank you, sir. And you are the last person um, whom I met when I'm flying to America, and you blessed me. I think you remember that phase. You blessed me, and you hold my passport in your hand, and you blessed me, and you sent me to United States. Thank you so much, sir. You inspired a lot to many of the students, like my siblings and all over the state. Thank you so much, sir, giving this opportunity. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, John. So, everyone, we all are here to, I have been eagerly waiting for Dr. RSP's speech. But before that, we have few people who want to share some greetings. And I humbly request you all to please maintain the time that was allotted to you. And we have 5 more here to share some greetings here. So before I call Brother Sridhar Mulagiri here, after that, Ashok Bula, please ready. And then Venkat Maroj Garu, and after that, Sunil Rayarala and Jay Karnila. So I request you all to please be ready here. Don't leave this room. And so please maintain the time that was allotted to you. So I request Brother Sri to share his greetings.
Thank you, Brother Luke. Good evening, everyone. Our lifespan has a limit, but our potential to transform has no limits. If not you, then who? If not now, when? So, this is the statement that Dr. RSP has made, and that caught my attention. And I'm standing here to say why I really started exploring about RSP, Dr. RSP, because I'm very new to him. So one of the things that most of you all agree, right? Those of you who are in the leadership roles, to identify a winner, we always look at the past performance, and also that gives us an indicator to see how they're going to perform in the future. So, and the other thing that I want to also say is that, the difference between ordinary versus extraordinary is only extra. And that's what the extra itself makes the person to be successful, because they do go the extra mile. And that's what makes them different to the ordinary people. And today, and those extraordinary people become legends. And you all know that, take any field, like be it art or be it music, film industry, entrepreneurship, everywhere we have come across a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of legends. So I'm happy to, with my few things that I have researched about Dr. RSP, I truly believe that he is a legend and a making that he has already made so many people lives change. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sridhar Mullagiri, and I stand here to say 3 things about Dr. RSP. I know the time is short, but the 3 things will take me 3 minutes. So the one thing, first thing is, why did the 3 questions that I had when I was looking for some background about Dr. RSP. So the first one is, why did he quit a successful IPS job, right? And so, like I said, my name is Sridhar Mullagiri, and I've been in US. I came here at the age of 23, and I've been in US more than half of my life. And studied in Sainik School, Korukonda. Some of the swearos that they were talking about, John, I think Sainik School is then, it's been there. So, and then my brother is a doctor, and his name is Dr. Praveen. And my sister is a lawyer by education. And my brother-in-law is an IPS officer, Madhu Kumar, MP cadre. Why did I say all this? Not to just boast about myself, but the identity is what I'm trying to say. How could I get this identity, or my family get the identity? That's because of my parents. And if I go back one generation, my father was from a very poor Dalit family from a small place called Chintalpudi. And then he was a 9th sibling out of his brothers, and none of them were educated. But his teacher, Purushottam Master, my father used to say, he found, he used to take milk to his home, and he found the spark that this guy can study. And he made sure that, he told my grandparents that this guy should not be going into farming, keep him in my place. So that's how my father in Chintalpudi Mandalam, he was the first civil engineer from Andhra University, about the whole Mandalam. And then we three were born. And like I mentioned, I introduced my siblings, right, my family. So I have an identity because my father. And then he became an engineering chief by the time he retired. My father, I'm talking about. And my brother-in-law, like I said, he's also an IPS officer. So he made sure that and one other thing that I want to also mention about my father is that he strongly believed, because he was born in 1943. By the time Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, his reformation about Dalit reformation, so he was really hooked onto it, and he believed that education is the thing that's going to make change in everybody's life. And that's how he got an identity. My siblings have an identity. And what else can I do? And and when I looked at Dr. RSP, when he resigned IPS job, why could I not do that? Why could my brother-in-law not do that? Because that's where, I mentioned in the beginning, right? What is the difference between an ordinary person versus an extraordinary person? And that's what the difference is. The people. So Dr. RSP has seen that, he can transform, not only that he transformed, but he can transform millions of people's lives. And that's what makes an extraordinary person who can also become a legend. And that's how I'm really happy that, I'm standing here just talking about Dr. RSP. Thank you. And the second thing that I wanted to quickly cover is that the Sparrows movement. Brother John just gave a testimony. And when I was looking at it, so, those of us who are from IT, we all know there's a brand that we try to create. We all know about Apple. There's a Mercedes Benz. All these are brands that we got hooked onto. So, but if you look at, I don't know how many of you have researched about the Sparrows movement. And Dr. RSP is the founder of the idea. And then he's the one who brought this into a movement. And then that's why you see millions of smiles, millions of people. So that's the difference. A movement that Dr. RSP has created, Swaros, is a brand that's evolving, in the villages, and it's in the Telangana state. And that John has said, right? And I could see there are many people now. That movement, the students are climbing Mount Everest, and there is another student who has gone to the bottom of Bengal, and he put the Swaros flag. So these are, and then, everywhere, right? Skydiving, name the music, any industry. So, and then, if you do some research about the Swaros, right? There's a Swaros wood, it's like Bollywood, right? And there is a tea, there is a arts, there's everything that Swaros, sorry. So when I read about it, I'm so passionate about carrying an Apple phone. I do have an Apple pad. I have a Mercedes Benz, So why cannot I, get hooked on to a Swaros brand? And that's what impressed me about Dr. RSP. Glad to have you, sir. So the third one that I wanted to say, that why I think that Dr. RSP is a true legend and leader, right? So when nowadays we all know that, that there's a regional movies, right? Everybody now they're making pan-India. They're talking about pan-India movies, right? So a movement, like a Dr. who created a movement, something that's so popular has become in Telangana, right? In a state. How can we make this into a pan-India movement? How can we make this into a pan-world movement? I think that's what his next vision is, what I'm thinking, that, that's why he quit the comfortable job that he had, part of IPS. And then he has created a movement, that's Swaros movement, that's already popular in Telangana. How can he take this into an international level? How can he take this into a national level, right? Pan-India movement, pan-world movement. And that's what I think maybe, this is what my read on what you're going to be doing next is that BSP, right? This is the Bahujan Samaj Party is what he has joined last year. So if you see, like I said, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who actually was the reform movement that he started, and all of us have evolved. So BSP, which was formed in 1984 on April 14th, that's the day that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's birthday was. And then over a period of time, since 1984, there was I think 1995 to 2012, the Mayawati, she was the chief minister. So a party which is in UP has made such a difference since 1984. It's like, many decades, right? So if Dr. RSP believes that, the BSP is another platform that can take his movement into the India level, right? And that's why he has been president of Telangana BSP. So I think that's the right thing that you're doing. And then, when Roy has introduced about the NRIs Global NRIs Forum. I think that's the next level to go to the pan world level. And I'm proud to stand here to say that Dr. RSP is a true leader, and I know I'm here to vouch for my support and whatever we can do. We are all here to support. If not, I cannot leave my job, but my own brother, my an extended family of a brother, Dr. RSP, can do that. Why can't we support? And that's what I'm thinking. Thank you, sir. And I know I've taken more than 3 minutes, but thank you for giving me the opportunity. God bless you.
Okay. Thank you, Sridhar garu. One quick announcement, Andy. After Dr. RSP's speech, and we will have a Q&A session. If we have any questions about his vision and also about Global NRI Forum, and any questions you may have, please keep it ready with you. And we have John S. Paul and Sunita Punyasamudram and Sridevi Mullagiri are going to come to you if you have any question. So please be ready with that. Ashok Bula, I don't know how many of you know about Ashok. I recently met him. He has so much knowledge to share. But again, giving him 4 minutes is not not good. But again, I know. But he has so much wealth of information he can share with Ambedkarism, ideology, and so many things. But this time, I want to request Ashok to share a few words.
Good evening, everyone. I know Luke is trying to exaggerate my capacity here. So I'm very much delighted today here to see RSP in this historic city of Atlanta. The city we know was the epicenter of civil rights movement, and also Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s non-violent movement for achieving justice, peace, and equality. Thank you, sir, for being here. So the movement of Dr. MLK, it has its parallels in India, where millions of the people, even after 75 years of independence, they're still struggling to see the fruits of independence. Precisely for the same reason, we want the politics to change. We want the alternative politics to start and take the leadership of the country. We know, being NRIs, we are all part of, or we are all used to do some sort of charity activities or be part of some welfare activities and make some donations and do few things that make or bring change in the lives of few individuals. But to bring a bigger change, definitely we need a movement. A few charity activities cannot make a movement. They only supplement the movement. We need a movement, a social movement that strengthens the political movement, and through which we can see that the constitution is properly implemented, so that the fruits of the independence and the equality, justice, liberty, and fraternity, whatever the preamble of the Indian Constitution says, reaches every citizen of the country, not just few individuals. So, with the same intention, we, some alumni of JNTU Kakinada, we started a group called Payback to Society, and we started doing some charity activities here and there. Then we realized that this is not enough. Then we want to do a kind of activities that brings the change. That's when we want to hear the advice of Dr. RSP, and we invited him for one of the Zoom call. And in the same Zoom call, I invited Roy, Venkat, and others. Origin of this Global NRIs Forum. That's when we started, we built this group and networking of networks, whatever Roy has said. So this group started with 50, 60 people, and now we have reached more than 300 now. and with the aim of achieving the equality, justice, liberty, and fraternity in India. We are seeing in the past 75 years, communal forces are ruling India. Dynastic politics are ruling India. And feudal forces are ruling India. Communal forces, they're not letting one India. They're dividing the country in the name of religion or everything, and they're propagating the hatred politics. Dynastic politics, they are completely undermining the principles of democracy. And feudal politics, they still believe in the exploitation of the people, the masses, and they still think that some are born slaves. That's why even in the modern days, our people, they're carrying the boots of masters today without any self-respect. We want these politics to change. And for that, we need clean politics, an alternative politics. For whatever reason people support communal politics, dynastic politics, or feudal leaders, give a chance. Come out, think out of your box, and be part of the movement that RSP is trying to build. Because ordinary people, they do ordinary things. There is no surprise in that. Extraordinary people do extraordinary things. There is no surprise in that. But when ordinary people starts doing extraordinary things, that's when the change comes. That's when the revolution comes into birth. And we are seeing the movement of Sweros. It symbolizes that. Normal, ordinary people who were always neglected, they rose to the skies. They're reaching the peaks of the mountains. They're realizing their distant dreams and coming to USA today. It was a distant dream those days. And now we have thousands of the people representing those underprivileged communities. Now we are doing our own things in USA. The free land, land of dreams. So what we need is alternative politics. I know the politics are not easy and it's difficult to maintain, sustain in the field. We need to face a lot of backstabbers. We need to face a lot of hatred politics, and you almost have to compromise with your goals. And many more things happen. We are just in the beginning. Whatever be the strategies, we should never undermine our goals. And since this is just the beginning, we should be prepared to do this battle for a long time. We cannot make our goals achieved in a short time. For this, we definitely need second generation leadership, third generation leadership, who are capable of continuing this very moment of achieving this equality, whatever we are aspiring to. I believe Dr. RXP, his actions and thoughts are in the same line, and in a very short time, we can start seeing this political change. I request everyone to rally behind his efforts, strengthen the platform that he is building, and the platform of GNF definitely will be with him during his efforts. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ashok. So before I call Dr. Venkat, I don't know how many of you know Dr. Venkat. So he is traveling here from Boston, and also Roy Mantena, he's also coming from Boston. I just wanted to recognize Uma, who is also traveling from South Carolina. Can you please stand, Uma, Roy, and Venkat Garu, and Purya Chauhan. He's coming from New Jersey. So I just came to attend this meeting today. Thank you all for joining us. So at this time, I would like to invite Dr. Venkat Maroju, and he is going to talk about the context of today's meeting and why we should support RSP.
Good evening, friends. My name is Venkat Maroju. I'm from Boston. Back home, I come from a town called Jangan in Telangana district. First of all, let me thank you all for coming tonight's event and sharing your valuable, Saturday evening with all of us. And I also want to thank this Atlanta, Georgia team that has been really very enthusiastic and put up a very, very, excellent show. Probably this is going to be the biggest meeting in our, 10 plus cities tour. So really, a big applause to Atlanta team. Okay, friends, I think this is by any means an historic event that we are witnessing in America, okay, in the United States, especially for Telugu diaspora, Indian diaspora. This is unlike anything that happened. I've been in this country for 31 years. This has been a dream. I have been in public life some way or the other for last 20 years, and people like Raidas Mantina, actually Srini Kandela couldn't be here. This has been 20 plus years of dream that how do we build an alternate, a majority marginalized sections of India to be a force in United States as well as impact back home our communities. Okay, so today, Roy said we formed this GNF 1 year back, and when Dr. RSP wanted to join the politics, that was an opportunity we wanted to seize and created. Overnight, we had about 70 people, and today that grown into 300 people, and that is responsible for happening. Believe it or not, now we are 10 cities. Now we are at 2 more cities. We visited 12 cities in this tour within a short span of 1 year. So that is an amazing feat that really tells how much people admire and basically support Dr. RSP. So this kind of I've been involved in different organizations. Never happened. So, friends, I think, as a NRIs, Indian diaspora sitting here, we are actually one of the richest minority in the United States, one of the most successful, minority. We are sought after engineers, doctors, technology entrepreneurs, and Fortune 50, CEOs. So that's what we talk about. So, but that's only a small part of India's story. The real India story, if you have to summarize in one thing, we fall 131 rank in a human development index in a countries of 180. 131. Just imagine where we stand. 30% of Indian population cannot feed themselves 2 meals a day. 30% of Indian population is illiterate. Every second illiterate woman is an Indian. Can you believe that? Every second illiterate woman in the world is Indian. So these are horrifying. We just celebrated 75 years of independence, right? And 75, some people can say it's a short term, some people can say long term. Our neighbor China also started this modernization journey only 75 years back, 1 year later. By 1970, they could achieve the basic living conditions for everybody. They had a good school and a healthcare center by 1970s in every village. And China now is boasts about 7-8 times of our GDP and the growth and the prosperity and the egalitarian society that has built. We are nowhere close to it. So these are really depressing statistics, right? A country that produces top 4 richest billionaires, and a country that basically is capable of sending satellites, building nuclear arms, cannot educate all his children. We have a 30% illiteracy. A thriving city like Hyderabad, a global city, a IT hub, you go to 40 kilometers to Mahbub Nagar, it has less than 60% of literacy rate. And a state like Telangana ranks 4th in GDP. We are climbing, but we have 20th rank in education, if you look at it. So this is something really wrong. So there's something really wrong with our nation and where the path that we took. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, everybody knows, while introducing the Constitution, He said in the Constituent Assembly, by the time we 26 January 1950, every citizen, every person in India is going to be equal, no matter his economic status, his caste, creed, religion, or gender, or any type of anybody in 18 years is politically is equal. That's an amazing thing, actually. It didn't happen in many countries. Even in a country like United States, when they got independence, only few people could vote. That's one amazing. But you also said, we are politically we are equal. We got political democracy, but we have a deep-rooted social economic inequalities. Unless we correct those inequalities using the means of constitution, our nation might lose our political democracy. We might put the very independence that we got at peril, in jeopardy. And friends, after 75 years of independence, the kind of extremism, intolerance, and the kind of hatred that we're seeing on one side, the other side, the inequalities are not being reduced. I mean, people like us cannot complain, right? I grew up in a very small town. My father was a first generation teacher, and I was blessed to, go to public schools in Jangam. But my father was a teacher. That's a privilege I had compared to the first generation people who worked so hard, including my father. And then I went to government schools, colleges, and also I'm a proud beneficiary of reservation system, and I cannot complain. Today I'm here. But so many people cannot, say that. So many people are without opportunity. Here, did you ever find a one student that he wants to go to a college that cannot go to a college? No. Why can't we do that? A country with vast resources, country, with especially last 30 years, the kind of economic wealth creation that we have done. So friends, we are, ruled by these parties, different political parties. But if you look at everybody, it's a, different bottle, but it looks the qualitatively similar people. The country, inherited the feudal system, and we call it democracy, but this whole political system, in some way or the other, is intact under this garb of democracy. The feudal forces are still ruling the country, right? So we need to at a crossroads that we need to really think and ponder. People sitting here, we have seen the world. We have in America is such a great egalitarian, evolved democracy. With all its limitations, still one of the best societies in the world. Why can't we learn some things and see how we can make our motherland like that? Right? So this is the time to reflect and understand there is an alternate way of doing politics. There is an alternate way of generating new leadership. And so coming to Dr. RSP, I know him a little more than 15 years back, and he is a wonderful police officer. He served the nation with, risking his life, some of the adventures, if you had seen some of the riskiest posts he has done, and putting his family, aside. He, got many accolades, police officer, went back, and the kind of, I mean, when he was at Harvard, we used to meet regularly. We used to talk about, some of the social issues. And he said, okay, he wants to do something in education, but I never ever in my dreams imagined the kind of transformation, the kind of impact he had achieved, almost achieved, like impacted about 1 million students in a short span of 8 years with mere 1,000 crores budget. That's just imagine if he becomes a chief minister and he has access to these 2.65 lakh crores of budget, what he can do it. Friends, I think we have a leader, we have an opportunity to take the nation and the country in a new trajectory. Okay? An IPS officer coming from very bottom of the society, a Harvard educated, has a proven leadership. I mean, you could find a lot of people, good intentions, good people, but you also have need the ability to move and make a change in the, and change the status quo. So that is what he has proven time and again in his, service to the nation, in the communities, the kind of Swaro movement he has created. It's amazing. You have seen some of the kids here. Not only that, if you go, every village has his footprints in places like Telangana and even Andhra Pradesh. So that's a leader. We have an opportunity to do things differently. So let's seize this opportunity and support Dr. RSP, and we participate in this movement. With that, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Jai Bhim, everyone.
Now I'd like to request Sunil, Brother Sunil, with few minutes, he's going to share his greeting.
Thank you, Brother Luke. Munde, a few minutes another, so I'll be brief and wait for the event. Actually, I Andhra Telangana Telugu prepare ayachuna, but Brother Jaker said to speak in English, so I'll speak mixed. Hopefully, it should not be. It's not a matter. First of all, Honorable Dr. Praveen Kumar Garu, our friends and guests from all over the country, on behalf of Atlanta, we are actually welcoming you to this city. అట్లాంటా అంటేనే ఉద్యమ గడ్డ చాలా మందికి తెలిసి పాటికి అక్కడ ఎమ్మెల్కే గారు 1960s నుంచి మరి డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ గురించి fought a lot, and it's in history, and on account of that we had a civil rights act passed in 64 that abolished and made equality everything. And he did not even care for his life, so he gave up his here. And it's a historic city, sir, and we are glad that you have visited us here to be a part of it. So my experience is I've been almost 20 years in this, 25 years in this country, and I'm like 20 years in Atlanta. I come from Andhra Pradesh, Visakhapatnam, Andhra University. So 1993 lona we tried to build a movement. We had an opportunity of meeting Kansiram Garu appudu, and we tried to start, and many of my friends are also, but they were part of my journey from Andhra University. They're on the right side, and I am glad I've been meeting them. So again, I got to know about Praveen Kumar Garu through media to start with. When I heard about his, particularly heard about Purna, who went to Maharashtra, then I got interested and saw everything. His inspiration, his speech, ఆయన ఇచ్చిన అవకాశం గురించి 10 I particularly were impressed by the inspirational 10 commandments that he came up with, which is great for is easy, and then that shows integrity, tarvata honesty, and you can do anything under the that baseline. So there's one of example. I saw my brother here, John Carney. I see him doing excellent work in Atlanta with us for the next generation. So again, I saw that then I remember the saying that ప్రార్థించే పేదవుల కన్నా పనిచేసే హ్యాండ్స్ బెటర్ అని చెప్పిన దిస్ ఇస్ లైక్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ టు సే దట్, బట్ యాక్చువల్లీ టాకింగ్ ఈజ్ ఈజీ, బట్ దెన్ sacrificing everything important, sir. And so we are glad that you have come to Atlanta, and you are with us. And so మీ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అనగా ఈ సర్వర్స్ అనగా అందరూ చెప్పారు, సో ఐ డోంట్ వాంట్ టు రిపీట్ ఆల్ ద స్టఫ్ అగైన్, బట్ ఇట్స్ గ్రేట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్. అండ్ దెన్ యాజ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ జర్నీ, మరి మీ అడుగులో అట్లాంటా తరపున మేము సైతం అని చెప్పి వీఆర్ విత్ రిసర్జెంట్ ఇండియాలో మీ 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 ఎంకరేజ్మెంట్ ఇచ్చి అందరినీ కూడా ఈక్వాలిటీగా తీసుకెళ్ళి రిసర్జెంట్ ఇండియా 75 years of that, we are technology was ahead, and tomorrow we are also sending Vikran ship, our own ship, into the country ocean. So our journey lo you're also making everybody part of that, all Indians as part of that, and meer chese journey lo mari okkari we are glad. Jai Bhim and Jai Hind. Thank you.
It's the last part of the greeting Sunday, so I'm going to invite Jaikar Neela brother. My last at least more than 2 months nunchi my Atlanta event kosam, and I have seen the hard work he put behind, and a lot of coordination, lot of calls, and so he sacrificed so much of his time for this meeting today, and it is honor to invite him again to share a few greetings. Jaikar Neela.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you so much. Good evening, friends. Good evening, friends. This is Jay Karnila from Atlanta. Back home, I am from close to Vijayawada. Today I'm so exciting to see so many people come together. So many good people come together with oneness, with one vision to bring change and make a difference in our society, to bring transformation in our society. Sacrifices are needed. We need sacrifices. We need someone selfless, dedicated people come together with the oneness, with one vision. మన సమాజంలో సామాజిక ఆర్థిక రాజకీయ మార్పు రావాలి అంటే ఎవరో కొందరు త్యాగం చేయాలి. సామాజిక బాధ్యత ఒక బరువు అనుకుంటే, ఉద్యమాలు మనకెందుకులే అనుకుంటే బానిసలుగా బతికేందుకు సిద్ధపడాలి. My dear friends, our identity has been ruined. Our values are reduced. Our fathers' dreams fail to fulfill our forefathers' goals. We might be feel limited. We might be feel controlled. We might be feel crushed. But remember, friends, our lifespan may have limits, but our potential to transform the people has no limits. So many great people, world leaders has proved it again and again. We all have stories. We all have stories to inspire the people. We all have stories to motivate the people. We all have stories to encourage the people to live a better life. All you need to do is rediscover your identity. From where you are coming, just rediscover your identity and write your own commandments and hit the right away. If not now, when? If not you, who? Let's all together and make our stories great successful. In 1991, I had chance to meet Kanshiram Garu at our university guest house. During that time, he told story about our forefathers. He told story about their sacrifices. He told story about their vision and their dreams for a country. One sacrifice hit my heart. It touched my heart. When Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Garu aggressively fighting for our social justice and women's rights day and night, his kids fell sick. He don't have money to take them to good hospital to treat them. He lost his 4 of his kids to sickness. Not 1, not 2, not 3. He lost 4 of his kids. What a great sacrifice. If he was selfish, he could have made billions and billions of dollars and had a comfortable life like us. But he chose to stand for his vision. But he chose to fight for our freedom. But he chose to build the great nation. That story changed my attitude towards our society. That story changed my way of thinking about our society. Let's all together and make our forefathers' visions and dreams come true. Dear friends, what is your story? Share your inspirational story to your family, to your friends, to your relatives, to your neighbors back home, and ask them to act accordingly so that they can have a good life, so they can have a good future. Life should be great rather than long. ఎంత కాలము బ్రతికేమన్నది కాదు, ఎలా బ్రతికేమన్నది ముఖ్యం. గెలవకపోవటం అనేది ఓటమి కాదు, మరలా మరలా ప్రయత్నించకపోవటమే నిజమైన ఓటమి. Remember friends, we are not born to die, we are born to do something. Let's be educated, be organized, be agitated. In our midst, we have Dr. S Praveen Kumar, who stands for our great vision. మనకు ఒక ఆశా కిరణం లాగా, మరో జ్యోతిరావు పూలే లాగా, మరో డాక్టర్ బాబాసాహెబ్ అంబేద్కర్ లాగా, మరో కాన్షీరామ్ గారి లాగా మరుగున పడినటువంటి వారి జీవితాలను ఉత్తేజింప చేయడానికి మరియు సొసైటీలో ఉన్న ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి ఒక మంచి విద్య, మంచి ఉపాధి, మంచి ఆరోగ్యాన్ని కలిగించాలనే లక్ష్యంతో తన ఐపీఎస్ పదవిని కూడా తృణప్రాయంగా వదిలివేసి సామాజిక న్యాయం కోసం పోరాటం చేస్తూ ఎంతో మంది చిన్న బిడ్డలకు విద్య అనే ఒక ఆయుధాన్ని అందించి వారి జీవితంలో జ్యోతిని వెలిగించినటువంటి మన జ్ఞాన జ్యోతి డాక్టర్ ఆర్ఎస్ ప్రవీణ్ కుమార్. అంతేకాకుండా తెలంగాణలో సామాజిక, ఆర్థిక, రాజకీయ మార్పు కోసం, అధికారం కోసం పోరాడుతూ ప్రతి పల్లె తిరుగుతూ ప్రజల్లో చైతన్యాన్ని నింపి నడిపించున్నటువంటి ప్రజా నాయకుడే డాక్టర్ ఆర్ఎస్ ప్రవీణ్ కుమార్. We all know how busy Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar is. Yet, he came here to meet us personally. He came here to exchange our ideas, our objectives, and our goals with a collective vision for a real social justice. Harvard alumni, educational reformer, the man behind the million smiles, and our legendary leader, Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar గారికి మా యొక్క అట్లాంటా తరపున హృదయపూర్వక వందనాలు, అభినందనలు. Let us declare our support to Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar గారికి and make this movement a great success in his life. As Martin Luther King said, if you cannot fly, then walk, then run. If you cannot run, then walk. If you cannot walk, then crawl. But don't stop this movement. Keep going, keep moving until you receive the social justice in our Telangana, until you receive the political power in Telangana. I have a dream that one day we can see and taste the real education, real healthcare, real employment in Telangana. I have a dream that one day we can see the real social justice in Telangana. I have a dream one day we can capture the real political power in Telangana. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Brother Jay, for that inspirational speech. And also, yes, one day we want to see Dr. RSP, not only in Telangana, but everywhere in India. That is our dream. So I also would like to thank Lakshman, Samba, and Ram Mohan. If you are here, can you please stand on your feet? Welcome you, brothers. You are coming from Charlotte. Thanks for joining us. So at this time, we have, please be seated. We have a special guest with us joining from, his name is Baba Sontiana. His full name is Baba Chakrabarti Ambedkar. He's coming to join us from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And Baba's family is here and back in India are purely Ambedkarites based in Visakhapatnam, AP. And Baba is also very active in multiple local and national organizations as an organizer, singer, choreographer, and many more. And I would like to thank Baba for being part of this wonderful event. And I would like to welcome him to the stage to present a song. And can we all give him a good round of applause for all the speakers as well?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Stop. థ్యాంక్స్ ఎవ్రీవన్. అట్లాంటాని లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా చాలా చాలా హృదయపూర్వకంగా నమస్కారం తెలియజేస్తూ, నా పేరు బాబా చక్రవర్తి అంబేద్కర్. ఐఎమ్ ఫ్రమ్ హ్యారిస్బర్గ్, పెన్సిల్వేనియా. థ్యాంక్స్ టు జైకర్ గారు, సునీల్ అండ్ Kamal, a lot of people heartfully invited me here. Sir, it's my honor to be part of this great occasion. More than anything, I really want to hear your words. That's why I came all the way from Harrisburg. నేను చాలా వీడియోస్ చూసాను మీవి, ఇన్స్పిరేషనల్ వీడియోస్. అండ్ అవి I hope it works in my mind continuously, even though my background is basically from Ambedkar family. My father is an executive engineer, and he named entire family members as Ambedkar, Arundhati, Ramdhan, Jagatjeevan. All my family names are these leaders' names. So he did a lot of service, but I really want to see and encourage myself actually from your words, and I want to motivate. One thing I really want to tell my friends, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, you all know, educate, organize, agitate, these three words. Manavanta Goda, I think first step already we crossed, at least we educated, we got good education based on our history, our family support, whatever it may be. Those fruits we really need to, give back to the people who really don't have education in India. That's our first basic responsibility, I feel. And then here we organized actually ourselves. It's really good to see how everyone came together to support RSP sir. And next step is agitate. We are all together, and as our friend said, మేము సైతం మనందరం కూడా ఆయనకి సపోర్ట్ చేసి ఆయన ద్వారా, ఆయన విజన్ ద్వారా మనం చూస్తూ ముందుకు నడిపించాల్సిందిగా ప్రతి ఒక్కరిని మనస్ఫూర్తిగా కోరుకుంటూ, సార్ మీకోసం ఒక చిన్న పాటతో మిమ్మల్ని స్టేజ్ మీదకి ఇన్వైట్ చేయడానికి కోరుకుంటున్నాం. సార్, ఎన్ని సమస్యలు వచ్చినా సరే జన చైతన్యానికి సారథిరై మీరు ముందుకు సాగాలని, మీ గమ్యంతో మన దేశం సస్యశ్యామలంగా, తెలంగాణ కూడా, నాట్ ఓన్లీ తెలంగాణ, తెలుగుదేశం, మన తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాలు రెండు కూడా ముందు చూపుతో ముందుకు నడిపిస్తారని ఆశిస్తూ చిన్న పాట మీకోసం. వందే మాతరం, 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 వందే మాతరం. జనగణమును పద పద పదమని జనజాగృతి పలికిన గీతమే వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం. నీ లక్ష్యం ఒకటే సోదరా, నిర్లక్ష్యాన్ని నిలదీయర. వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం. ఎవరే మన్నా ఎదురే మైనా జన చైతన్యానికి సారథి నీ వైసాగరా. సుజలం సుఫలం ఇది నీ గమ్యం, ఇక సస్యశ్యామలమైపోతుందిర భారతం. వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం, ఓ వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం, वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् ओ वन्दे मातरम् ये देश प्यार की मिट्टी है, हर देश मोहब्बत मस्ती है, हर दिल में भर सच्चाई वंदे मातरम। ये देश प्यार की मिट्टी है, हर देश मोहब्बत मस्ती है, हर दिल में भरी सच्चाई वंदे मातरम वंदे मातरम वंदे मातरम। जनगण मन पद पद पदमनि जन जागृति पलिकिन गीतमे वंदे मातरम। నీ లక్ష్యం ఒకటే సోదరా, నిర్లక్ష్యాన్నే నిలదీయర వందే మాతరం వందే మాతరం। ఎవరే మన్నా ఎదురే మైనా జన చైతన్యానికి సారథి నీవై సాగరా। సుజలం సుఫలం ఇది నీ గమ్యం, ఇక సస్యశ్యామలమైపోతుందిర భారతం। वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् ओ वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् ओ वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् ओ वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम्। Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba Garu. So, I'm going to present a few more songs for us after the program. As at this time, I would like to invite Chaitanya to introduce our Dr. S Praveen Kumar this evening.
Good evening, everyone. I really don't think Dr. RSP needs any more introduction because all the speakers before me have done such a fantastic job of educating who he is. And I don't think we are here because we don't know him. We know a little bit about him. I would like to start by a story. So there is a man in a village living with his son, and one day the man has to leave the village to run some errands. This was a long time ago. So the bandits came and they swept the entire village. And when the man came back, he saw the ashes of his son, and he started crying. You can imagine losing a son is not that easy. And he was in grief for years and years. The matter of the fact is the son was actually taken away by the bandits. And all the years, the father gathered ashes of his son, put it in a velvet pouch, and is grieving every day, many, many years. One day, the son escaped from bandits and came back. And he knocked at the door. And he said, father, over the years, he's still grieving and asked, who is it? And the son said, Papa, it's me. And father, because he's grieving, said, that's impossible. My son is in my velvet pouch. He's in ashes. And he drove the son away. The son came back the next day and said, Papa, it's me again. But the father didn't open the door. The son came back for the next 10 days, but the father never opened the door. I will soon drive a parallelism of what this is with the fate of our marginalized communities shortly. But Dr. RSP, born in Nalamalai Forest, his very first dream was to become a truck driver because that was his environment. But when he was moved to a different ecosystem by his parents, fortunately, he was able to draw inspiration from many of his seniors in his school, in his college, in his intermediate, and saw that he has much more potential in spite of having so many linguistic and other challenges coming from marginalized communities. So he became a civil servant eventually. He failed, but he didn't give up. He failed the second time, he didn't give up. He became an IPS officer the third time. And from what I understood, he is a continuous learner. He is a leader in the making. He learned from our Bahujan leaders, way from Dr. Baba Saheb, Sahu Maharaj, and Kanshira, many more. He learned their life struggles. And he, of course, we know he came to Harvard. That has improvised his horizon. And he went back and started making reformations and revolutions in social welfare schools, as we know. And as we all know, he gave up that career with a vision. So he may not have all the answers from as far as I understood his journey. He is a man in the making. He's a leader in the making. He has this potential of learning from each and every person. That is what I noticed in him. I'm not sure about you all, but see that whenever he talks to everyone, he tries to learn from each and every one of us because he's a leader in the making. So what I urge is that he is that forgotten son who has come back. And we, as a father, we are living in this feudalistic rulers, not just Telangana or Andhra, the whole India. We have forgotten what hope looks like. The hope has come back in the form of a leader like him. So I urge that open the door and see and give him a chance. Like as I said, he needs no other introduction, but I know for sure that in order to create our future, his vision is, let us do ourselves. Let's not ask anybody. Let's create our future. I think that is his motto. And with that note, ladies and gentlemen, I ask each one of you to have standing ovation with a big round of applause. I invite him onto the stage.
It's quite intimidating to follow that video, to be honest. Thank you, RSP Garu, for being among your studs in Atlanta, the city where civil rights movement started and which is still in the process of changing things over here. And thank you. On this occasion, while looking forward, I just want to, for a couple of minutes also, to look back and see what brought us to here. On this occasion, I want to thank two progressive teachers, Prakasham Garu and Purushottam Garu, for making such a big difference in your mother, Prema Garu's life. We thank your mother for asking the simple but difficult question. Just to put it in, paraphrase it, son, should I be happy you made it? Or feel bad that there are many around us that are still in shackles and not able to realize their true potential? We thank you, RSP Garu, on answering this question and embarking on this journey, not only in providing socio-economic ladders of education and others, but in emancipation, self-realization of true identity. That these sparrows planted at the top of Mount Everest and at the depth of Bay of Bengal. We thank you for doing that. We thank you for emancipating hundreds of thousands of and leading them towards claiming their rightful place in this world, bringing smiles to millions of people. To impact few in such a way will be considered an achievement. To impact thousands is worthy of praise and honor. And we are gathered here for that. We wish you continued success in your march towards emancipation of millions more, and in securing justice, liberty, and fraternity for millions more as aspired in Indian Constitution. As Atlanta's famous son, Dr. Martin Luther King would say, let the freedom bring. I request you to please come forward and grace this occasion. I request Brother Jacob Neela and Balram Tadagiri Garu to escort RSP Garu. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Dr. RS Praveen Kumar Garu with a thunderous Atlanta applause. Also invite Sunil Rayala, Paul Punyasamudram Garu, John Panuganti, Paul Punyasamudram Garu, John Panuganti, Kipogu Garu, Navkant Neela, Sridhar Mullagiri Garu, Sandeep Chavan, Ashok Bela, John Carney, and finally myself, Paul Raipudi.
యాక్చువల్లీ ఇక్కడ చిన్న విషయం చెప్పాలి. నేను అమెరికాకి వచ్చే ముందు సార్ ఛాంబర్‌కి వెళ్ళి నేను కలిసి షాల్‌లో కప్పి ఒక స్వీట్ డబ్బా ఇచ్చి వద్దామని అనుకున్నాను. లిటరల్లీ 4 అవర్స్ వెయిట్ చేశాను సార్ అపాయింట్మెంట్ కోసము. సార్ బయట చాలా బిజీగా ఉండి అప్పుడు ఆఫీస్‌కి వచ్చారు. నేను లిటరల్లీ 4 అవర్స్ బయట వెయిట్ చేసి సార్‌ని కలిస్తే ఆ షాల్ ఉల్టా నాకే ఏసి సార్ పంపించారు. సో ఈరోజు నాకు చాలా అదృష్టం అనిపిస్తుంది సార్‌కి. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ సార్.
Thank you, sir. We invite you as the audience now.
Very good evening, Atlanta. Good evening. Jai Bhim. Jai Bharat. Thank you very, very much. Even billion thanks will not be enough to describe the affection, love, and commitment you have towards not just Praveen Kumar, but to secure the dreams of millions of people in our country, not just in India, but all over the world. Thank you very, very much for this. The shawls that you have put on my shoulders and the flowers that you gave me today, they were not just the flowers, not just the shawls. They were the aspirations, they are, and they are the aspirations of millions of people of our motherland. You gave me a huge responsibility by placing those flowers in my hands and the shawls on my shoulders. It's not just out of a sheer love and affection, but that was also an embodiment of hope that you placed in my hands. And that was also a warning to me that I should not give up halfway through. So thank you very much for that. From the land of Gautam Buddha, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj, the father of reservations, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, the architect of Indian Constitution, which made all of us today, land of Ayankali, land of Periyar Ramaswamy, land of Kanshiram, land of Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, Savitri Bai Phule, Ramabai Ambedkar, Fatima Sheikh, Mother Teresa. From that land and to the land of Booker T. Washington, the great Martin Luther King Jr., it was quite a journey, my dear friends. It's really quite a journey. The journey was very brisk, very hectic, and full of experiences. Full of experiences. So since the day I've landed here, I landed right on the day of Indian independence, 75th year of independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So 75 years of Indian independence, the moment I landed in Boston, so our brothers and sisters have embraced me with so much of love and affection. And from there till today, it has been a very, very hectic, very impactful, very meaningful journey. Unlike others, I have not been able to go to any tourist attraction. Dry, they are not bothered. They're not just their polite partners, they have. Yes, so all of them, they are missing the people. So, but still, they have a mission before themselves. So is the case with Atlanta. Then I've been talking to these friends in Atlanta, for the last 2 years. Uma, Jack or Neela, then Luke, Ashok Bula, then Chaitanya Bula, then Sandeep Chauhan, Raju, Shashikant Dande, then Prabhakar, and Paul, and many more people. If I have missed any names, please excuse me. I've been talking to these people, much before the onset of pandemic. And it was such an impactful conversation. It went to such an extent where I got the courage. This was also this conversation is also one of the factors which prompted me to give up my career, for which I had studied 16 hours a day for 3 years continuously. 16 hours a day. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't enjoy the pedigree. Our brothers were talking about the dynasties. I'm not from those dynasties. I don't enjoy the pedigree like many other civil servants enjoy. My grandparents were bonded laborers in the undivided Andhra Pradesh. My mother was also a bonded laborer, right? So, as the brother just before me, he mentioned the name of the teachers who transformed my mom. So, Prakasham and Purushottam. These people were denied homes when they got the jobs for the first time, when they went to a village in which my grandparents were living. So, they were denied homes on the account of their caste. On the account of their caste, they were denied homes in the main village, although they were appointed as government teachers, having nowhere to go and unable to quit the job because of the humiliation they have faced in 1950s. They came to the colony in which my grandparents. So my grandparents, can you spare your home for us? And my grandfather was very smart. So he spared his home. And then they saw accidentally my mother holding a sickle, going to coolie every day to agricultural field of the landlords. Those days, our people, I did not see this. My mother narrated this story at the age of 71 years because I didn't have time to ask these stories to my mother. So my mother told me this story. So then these teachers thought that a child should not touch a sickle and then make a living at that young age. So that's why they convinced my grandparents, and then they ensured that my mother goes to school. And my mother endured all the humiliation in her childhood, and then completed her 10th grade, and then went to Ongole and completed her teacher training with distinction. And today she is not just a retired headmistress, not just a COVID survivor, but also a proud mother of an IPS officer, retired, and a professor, and also a doctor. So that is the story of education. You all have the story. If not the second generation, the people who are born in this land of opportunity, the US, but all those seniors, you have that story. Those people, the great people who are sitting in this room, you all have that story. I'm not going to mention all the stories because the very conversation today we are going to have is to create those stories. It's not just a man behind those million smiles. Smiles are the outcomes of the achievement. Smiles are the outcomes of comfort. Smiles are the outcome of your independence. Smile is not the cause. Smile is an outcome. Smile is not the reason. Smile is the result. But we are here to talk about the reason, talk about the future, which brings millions of stories like this. So, friends, this is quite a journey. So we went to Boston, from Boston to New Jersey, and New Jersey to Philadelphia, Philadelphia to Bloomington, Bloomington to Chicago, Chicago to Minnesota, Minnesota to from there Detroit, from there DC, then after that Dallas, then from there many cities. I'm forgetting the names of quite a few cities, but everywhere we came across the stories so inspiring, and I've been tweeting on these stories continuously. We met a gentleman yesterday, for example. I'm come from Dallas, and last night we slept at 1:30 a.m. At 1 a.m., young girl, her nickname is Jessie. Young girl comes to me at 1 a.m. So we all came from the meeting place like this at 1 a.m. from Dallas to our home. The host was a Swero. His name is Amrit Pupala. And this girl, young girl, third grader, comes to me and says, "Sir, it's not sir, uncle. Uncle, one day you will see me. One day you will see me as J.K. Pupala. Do you know J.K. Rowling?" So she asked me, the Harry Potter author. So one day you will see me as J.K. Pupala. Then I asked, so who is this J.K. Pupala? I know Pupala is your last name, your father's last name. But who is this J.K.? Jessie, her nickname. K is Kritika. So one day I am going to end up as a writer like J.K. Rowling. Please bless me, uncle. That girl says. Ladies and gentlemen, her grandparents were illiterate. They didn't know how to monitor the studies of son Amrit Pupala. And fortunately, I met her grandmother in the same home in Dallas. Her name is Esther. Her husband did not study, and then he did not go to school, and then she did not go to school. And then she was standing there as a testimony of the transformational value of education, wherein grandmother doesn't know how to read and write, and the granddaughter wants to end up like J.K. Rowling. See the beauty of education. Couple of hours before that, we went to a housewarming ceremony of Swero. His name is Swami. When I entered his home, he made me to cut the ribbon and usher into the house. So it looked like a palace. Then I took him to a corner and then asked, his name is Swami, he works for Morgan Chase. And I asked him, what was your ancestral home like? He took me to the corner and said, sir, my father was an attender. He died when I was in 7th grade. And my mother got my father's job to attender. Attender is the lowest employee in a bank. And we had only one room. And today, because of education, that Swami from Jangaon Social Welfare directly came to JP Morgan Chase Bank. That is the story. That is the story. We have Purya Chauhan here, who is member of 11 members family, and today he is working for KPMG. I'm not going to talk about the cars that you own or the homes you live, but see the places where you have ended up. I was born in a village where we used to have only one Dora, the feudal landlord, and he used to have huge palace. And he was the only guy who used to go to college and come to village only during festivals. And we all used to watch for the kite that he used to fly. Only after Dora's son flies the kite, all the villagers have to fly the kites. If you break the rule, then you'll be taken to task. And he was the only guy who used to come in premier Padmini car in those days, and all others used to go on barefoot. But today, our kids, our people are driving Mercedes, are driving BMW, are staying in the bungalows, which are much better than most of the prosperous people back home. Is it not an achievement? Is it not an achievement? It is quite an achievement. And there are many more inspiring stories. I'm not gonna talk about those things for various reasons. So friends, today, there was a question when we were discussing about Global NRI Forum, much before the formation of Global NRI Forum, we were discussing, we are all well-intentioned, we feel for motherland, and we want our motherland to, like Venkat was giving the statistics, there were heartbreaking statistics. I have many more statistics, but anyway, I'm not going to burden you with more statistics whose hearts are already heavily burdened with grief because of the things that are happening back home. So, but Venkat was talking about, for consistently we have been ranking 130 in Human Development Index. 130. If you take Telangana, for example, if the Telangana population 3.77, it's a case in point. I'm not going to talk only about Telangana, it's about the body politic in an entire country. So 3.77 crores and 1.8 crores do not know how to read and write. Almost 45% of people from Telangana do not know how to read and write. And this state, among all states in the country, this state is the topper in consumption of liquor. Topper in consumption of liquor. This is not about politics. This is about the evolution of a society and where some sections of the society is taking a raw deal. This is the story. So friends, we are here today to talk about the collective future of our generations which are yet to be born. This is very important for all of us. For you who are staying in the US and for us who are fighting this battle back home in our motherland. It's not going to be easy, as Ashok was mentioning very clearly. It's not going to be easy. No. The ruling classes have mastered the art of dividing people, cajoling you, coercing you, then incarcerating you if you don't listen to them, if you don't toe the line, or masking you, silencing you, blocking your news, whatnot. So they have mastered the art, and then they have deeper pockets. For 75 years, like today, I feel very sad that we are celebrating Amrut Mahotsav. That is 75 years of independence at a time when a boy who belongs to scheduled caste community tries to take water from the pot of a teacher, and teacher got so outraged with this, unsacred act, and then he beats the boy to death. And we still celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. 1 week ago, in Telangana state, 35 women were operated for family planning with rusted scalpels, scissors, in an unsterilized operation theater, in a healthcare facility. And out of these 35, 4 women develop septicemia and then they die. And still we celebrate 75 years of independence. I'm not saying I'm not saying that we are not independent. We are independent. British are not there, but the power was handed over to the people who are no less than Britishers, They are still exploiting us. They are still exploiting. I'm not talking about only the marginalized communities. I'm talking about all communities. The citizens of this country are being taken to task. Not just scheduled castes, not just scheduled tribes, not just BCs. Everybody, even the poor among those dominant communities also are being taken to task. I'm not here to, talk about only one caste. Although there is a conspiracy. There is a conspiracy to restrict, as they restricted Baba Sahib Ambedkar as a leader of scheduled caste. So there is a conspiracy to brand Praveen Kumar also to be the leader of only one particular committee. This is a deep-rooted conspiracy. Like I really liked when there was mentioning about the identities. Whether you decide your identities, whether they decide your identity. Last night in Dallas, after the meeting was over at about 11:30 p.m., one news reporter from TV9 channel comes to me and asks me, sir, there is a place called Munugodu and by-election is going to happen, and I'm afraid that you three are sharing the vote bank. Then I asked him, who are those three? Sir, Sharmila Reddy, K.A. Paul, and Praveen Kumar and Mandakrishna Madhika, 4. So which vote bank you are referring to? Sir, yes, yes. He was talking out of, by default he is talking. It's not, but very naturally he was asking me the question. Then I asked him, would you ask the same question to Mr. KCR, that are you going to tap the vote bank of Velmas? Are you going to ask, the Congress party, Mr. Revant Reddy, are you going to ask him, are you going to tap the vote bank of only Reddys? When you don't have the courage to ask the question to those people, why are you asking this question to me? Ask them openly. This is called as stereotyping. This is the way the parties, the people who fight for our rights get marginalized. This is a deep-rooted conspiracy. You all have to realize this conspiracy. Now, another question he asked me, sir, Mayawati is corrupt. And then why have you joined that party? Who said Mayawati is corrupt? Show me where is the case, and then show where the case has ended up. Then did she go to jail? There is no answer. There is no answer. And the Supreme Court of India has abolished the case, dismissed the case against Mayawati. Even then, the media and the ruling classes have audacity to call her as the corrupt. Actually, who is the corrupt? The people who killed 2,000, under whose supervision 2,000 Muslims, 2,000 people from minority communities have been killed in a place called Gujarat, and they are ruling this country today. Do you have the courage to call them as corrupt? And our chief minister in our state, our chief minister has initiated a project, Kaleshwaram Lift Irrigation Project, 1.15 lakh crores. 1.15 lakh crores, and of which this 1.15 lakh crores irrigation project was divided among only dominant classes. There are no SCs, there are no STs, there are no BCs, there are no religious minorities. When I say religious minorities, no Christians, no Muslims, and no poor among so-called upper caste. Then where the money has gone? The money has gone to the cronies of the chief minister. And chief minister has the audacity to have a farmhouse spanning 300 acres, built with the state money. It has 8 feet compound wall with solar fencing over it. See the misuse of money. Then there are 200 policemen continuously guarding that farmhouse. And chief minister travels from his office, which is again built with 170 crores of public money. From there, he goes to his farmhouse and then comes back. You know what is the cost of the transportation? 79 crores per year. Whose money is that? When John was showing his journey as Pharaoh, you may have seen rickety classrooms, the classrooms which are about to fall, and that is the condition. The children who are sitting on the ground and the poorly stitched uniforms, and this is the condition of the schools. On the other hand, our rulers, no, be it in center or be it in state, our rulers have the all money under the sun to spend on the luxuries for themselves and then for their families. In fact, their even dogs, their own dogs, the pets go in bulletproof cars, but not the poor people. Who are those poor people? What is their percentage in the population? 85%, 85 to 90%. That's what Kanshiram called Bahujans. Scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, backward classes, the poor among upper classes, and the religious minorities, Christian minorities, and then Muslim minorities, and all other religion minorities. These people constitute almost 85 to 90% of Indian population, but never these people got the power. That is the challenge before all of us. It is not the power. We need power not to just enjoy comforts like the ruling classes, not to enjoy the farmhouses, not to move in the luxury cars, not to have luxurious 25-course meal every day, or not to have long convoys and then create traffic jams. No. We need power to change the destinies of our people. We need power to create as many stories like yours every day. Every day. I'm happy that you have, appreciated the video that was made by our students on my achievement as social welfare secretary and tribal welfare secretary. After I joined Harvard, then I went to a professor. His name was Julius Wilson in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And then I asked him, I am so inspired by the conversations that happen in the classrooms of Harvard Kennedy School. So I never came across such conversations in my life. So I'm so inspired. So tell me, how do I make my country, the people who are very poor, including scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and all the other communities, better? You know what he said? Only 2 words: be visible. Be visible. Never be ashamed of your identity. Never shield your identity. Be open about it. I did not even think once. I called my wife and I, both of us, we decided, then we will go back. Most of our batchmates, classmates, they joined United Nations, they joined World Bank, they joined, the non-profit organization, they joined some companies, but I said, no, motherland is calling, because there are 300 million to 400 million people who are waiting to be emancipated, who are living like slaves, even after 75 years of independence. So I immediately took the decision and then went back to motherland. Although I was a career police officer, I volunteered to become a secretary of social welfare residential schools. Friends, many people have spoken about Sweros. If organizers are okay, then I would like to share with you as to why I started Sweros Network, why I started the word called Swero. Because in India, again, not just in India, in many places in the world, The stereotyping is so reckless and then so humiliating. In India, you are just recklessly called a Dalit. What do you mean by Dalit? You are broken. You go to Google and then type in Google images, Dalits in India, whenever you are free. So type in, go to Google images and type Dalits in India. What do you find? The people without clothes, or tribes for that matter, people without clothes, people fighting for their rights, people begging, and then people carrying the garbage on their heads. And these are the images you get. These are the painful images you get. Then I went to the classrooms and I asked the students about their names, their parents, and then their, villages, and then they were shivering. Then I asked the teacher, why is it the children are so uncomfortable when I ask them the questions about their identity? Sir, please don't ask these questions. They get really shaken because they have been suppressed for ages. And then the moment you ask the profession of their father or the names, because some names are so humiliating. The teachers who have named them, teachers probably they belong to dominant caste, particularly the girls' names, the surnames are so humiliating. And you cannot even talk about those names openly. So please don't talk to them. And I said, no, this is not going to happen. So the first thing I did was ban the word called Dalit in our all institutions. We are not broken people. No. What do you mean by Dalit, broken? So do you all feel proud that you are Dalits? No. You are like anybody else. That's what Baba Sahib said. That's what all great philosophers said. All, like we went to Abraham Lincoln's place in Springfield. Then all men are born equal. Equal. So how do you call some people as Badugu? Badugu is, Balahina, Badugu. Nimna is lower. So these are very derogatory terms. So now you call them as, some tribes are called as criminal tribes. How is it possible then you call some people as criminal tribes? Then some people are, there are so many derogatory, terms for these people. We said, no, we are not going to use them. Then what should be the term? Then we came with a name called SWERO. SW stands for, in those days it was social welfare. Now we made it state welfare, and the aero is which is synonymous with, air, then flying and so on and so forth. Then that went very well. So children, they really liked it. And then so much so that, in their social identity, social security identity cards, in their birth certificates, they named themselves as Sweros because they wanted to escape the trap of inferiority. And what was the tagline? No reverse gates. Let us chase infinity. Let us defy the gravity in our lives. So that is where, the Sweros network came. And what are the 10 commandments that we made? Not those biblical 10 commandments. So we're talking about the 10 commandments you command yourself. What are those commandments that we have made? I am not inferior to anyone. That's the first commandment. I shall be the leader wherever I am. The second commandment. I shall do what I love and be different. I shall always think big and aim high. I shall be honest, hardworking, and punctual. I shall never blame others for my failures. I shall repay what I borrow. I shall neither beg nor cheat. I shall never fear the unknown. And I shall never give up. These are the 10 commandments that we gave to our children. And every day, lakhs of children recited these commandments. And those commandments made the youngest ever female from our schools to scale Mount Everest. These 10 commandments, once upon a time in our schools, there used to be only 2 to 3 students used to become doctors. And today in our school, same schools, 300 students every year are becoming medical graduates. These 10 commandments made our girls to cross the borders of their villages, although they did not have money, board the flights without escorts at the age of 18 years and go to Morocco, go to Poland, go to Egypt, go to Russia, go to Cambodia, go to Vietnam, go to Nepal, go to Sri Lanka, stay there for 6 weeks and teach them English. These 10 commandments made our children, particularly the girls, because 60% of our students are girls for a reason, because if a girl is liberated, then whole family is liberated. Because girls are more marginalized among the marginalized. So these children, these girls, they became naval engineers. They're being trained as captains. They're being trained as pilots. The girls who would have otherwise become mothers at a very young age, these girls, they escaped the yoke of early marriage and went to the premier universities in this country as well as world. I met a lot of girls. Even yesterday, I met a girl in Dallas, and in Chicago, I met a couple of girls whose parents are working as janitors, housekeepers, security guards back home, earning just 7 to 8,000 rupees per month, living in the shanty accommodation. Today, my son, I'm an IPS officer, so my son studies in Delhi School of Economics, and then my son's classmate, he is from a village called Achampet, and he lives in the tent which is made up of old saris. See the power of education. So he lives in the tent, he's nomads basically. So he's also studying in the same campus where my son is studying, where IAS officers' sons are studying, where ministers' sons are studying, daughters are studying. And some of the girls whom we have sent to Delhi University, they are picked up by BlackRock Corporation, one of the famous, hedge funds. Maybe most of you who are aware of, these corporations in the US. So see the power of education. So I have been talking about education quite often. So do I sound like a politician? Certainly not. But the point here is, why have I joined politics? Why did I had another 7 years, approximately 7 years of service left. I left that service. I took permission from my wife, and then I went to Bhenji Kumari Mayavati and then requested her permission. And then I joined Bahujan Samaj Party. Although I had 7 years of service left, active service left. Then I came back and then I joined Bahujan Samaj Party in the presence of 2 lakh people in Nalgonda district. People came from Andhra Pradesh, like here. People came from Andhra Pradesh, people came from Orissa, people from Karnataka, and all the people came from, in addition to the people, lakhs of people came from Telangana. They all blessed me. We did not pay even a single penny or a single drop of liquor to these people. Still they came because they wanted to become rulers. They wanted to shape their own destiny. So today, our rulers, they don't want to invest in education. This is the catch here. You all must realize. Rulers who represent the dominant communities. Friends, please, I want to make it very clear. I am not against any caste. I am not against any caste. I am against politics of hatred. But I have to tell you the truth. I've been taught by people who belong to Reddy community. Those who are from India, you can easily understand. Reddy community, particularly southern India. Reddy community, then Kamma community. My favorite professor was a Kamma. Then my PG advisor was a Reddy, and because of one Reddy colleague, I got a very good company, and then I got into Indian police service because he was very close to me. But that doesn't mean that's not to say that there is no discrimination in the villages. There is no discrimination in the country. There is no discrimination in the state. See why our education, the most important thing that is required for the transformation, is not getting the attention. Our budget of Telangana is 2.5 lakh crores. What is the budget of education? 8,000 crores. Where is 2.5 lakh crores? Where is 8,000 crores? And who goes to government schools? Only the poorest of the poor goes to government schools. Then why is that they are getting raw deal? Because nobody is talking about them. Even health infrastructure. The hospitals are understaffed. And who goes to government hospitals? Poorest of the poor. Then where do the rich go? They go to the private hospitals. They have the corporate hospitals, including our chief minister. Whenever he has to undergo medical checkups, he goes to a famous corporate hospital. What a shame. On one hand, you have a Portugal minister, health minister, last week, when Indian tourist died in Portugal, because of the fact that she did not get, she was pregnant and she was suffering from pain, and then there was no ambulance service, and Portugal, she dies, and Portugal health minister, within 5 hours, he resigns to her post on moral grounds of failure. On the other hand, in India, people are dying every day. Our children are striking the work, striking. They are coming out of schools and then blocking the roads for want of potable drinking water. Still, our education minister doesn't resign. In IIIT Basar, 9,000 students are there. All the students, they have been handpicked by the government because they got 10 out of 10 GPA. And then these people, they go to IIIT Basar and 1,200 children get sick because there was a frog in their food. And then admitted in the hospitals. Frogs and cockroaches, they are admitted in the hospitals. And health minister doesn't resign. Education minister doesn't resign. Chief minister doesn't resign. On the other hand, the same chief minister wants to divide the people. Then he created a scheme called Dalita Bandhu, as if he's so passionate about Dalit. Same chief minister in 2014, he said, Telangana will be ruled by a Dalit chief minister. Now, you know who is ruling Telangana. He said, I'll give 3 acres of land to every Dalit family. He could not give even 10,000 acres. He could not give even 10,000 acres. And now he started, and he's grabbing all the land which governments gave to Yeshus, scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in the state of Telangana. And he's handing over all the land to real estate people. And the same chief minister started a scheme called Dalit Bandhu, in which every Dalit family would get 10 lakh rupees. Friends, you go to any website, type, you go to Google and type Dalit Bandhu scheme and the guidelines. How do you select a beneficiary who is getting 10 lakh rupees from the government? There are no guidelines. We have fought for those guidelines, but government doesn't want to give the guidelines. Why? Because chief minister wants to give only 10 lakh rupees to 500 people and make 1,000 people wait for that, and then ensure that they become loyal voters to their party. This is how the public money is wasted. When we fought, we said, don't waste those 10 lakh rupees. There is another way of, using those 10 lakh rupees. Send them to US. Send them to Europe. Send them to Australia. Add another 10 lakh rupees and send them, and then they will become billionaires. They will become billionaires. But our government doesn't want that. They want votes. They want votes. They want to dump the public money on a few people and get the votes. This is the kind of politics. Because they want to sit in the chair of chief minister perpetually. Perpetually. So they don't want you and me to go to the corridors of power. They want you to be a beneficiary forever. Beneficiary to take the saris from the government. Beneficiaries to take 6 kgs of rice forever, generations after generations. Beneficiaries to get 1 inch of land forever. So these are the things these people have been promising and then doing all the corruption for 75 years. We want to stop all that. That's why I have joined Bahujan Samaj Party. Bahujan Samaj Party firmly stands by justice, the constitutional values, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Ever since I joined Bahujan Samaj Party, I have toured 800 villages in Telangana because I wanted to see Telangana with my own eyes, touch the pain. I have traveled more than 17,000 kilometers. Addressed almost, physically, met almost 7 to 8 lakh people in the last, 117 days. Telangana is in deep distress. Many places, the young people are dying like chicken. You know why? Because the liquor is more easily available than water. It's called a cheap liquor. There are, the kiosks that sell liquor in the villages are called as belt shops. And many places, out of 100 women, at least 30 to 40 women have become widows. I asked these, hapless women as to how you have become widows at a very young age. They said, our husbands are drinking and dying. Drinking and dying in accidents, drinking and dying because of cirrhosis, and drinking and committing suicide because they are not getting enough money to buy the liquor. And government, instead of giving good education, they are making good liquor and then selling to poor people. So is the case with health. So is the case with self-employment. So is the case with many places. And even today, there are 30 to 40 lakh people who do not have proper home to live in this country, and still we celebrate 75 years of independence. That is the reason why, friends, today we have to take a decision. Shall we remain as mute spectators to this economic carnage that is happening in our country? Or shall we step out of our comfort zones and then do whatever that is possible with them? Do whatever that is possible with us. So that's the reason why I am here. And we have told people, we have promised to people that if Bahujan Samaj Party comes power, many people ask me, what is your vision? So if Bahujan Samaj Party comes to power, we are going to give at least 1 acre of land to every poor person, irrespective of their caste and creed. Every poor person. It is possible. Don't ever believe the argument that there is no land in India. No, there is land. But this land is in the grip of rich landlords. They don't want to show the records. But there is land. Because the government is being ruled by the landlords, and landlords have the capacity and all the resources to shield the data from poor people. That's why they are not giving their land to poor people. But we are going to give 1 acre of land at any cost to these people. Second thing, we have promised that if we are voted to power, we are going to give private pattas, that is registration certificates, to all the assigned lands that are given by the government to poor people, whether they are scheduled castes or scheduled tribes or whatever. Then third thing, what we said, we are going to make all Podu lands or the private lands, because these tribes have been cultivating those lands for the last 70, 80 years. Now you'll be surprised, in the same development, in the same survey number, 1,000 acres belonging to landlord, that becomes a private property, and another 100 acres that was being cultivated by poor tribals, that becomes a government property. See the difference. See the exploitation. So we said this is not going to sustain. We are going to make all those lands that are cultivated by tribals as private property of those tribals, because they have been put to grave injustice. Then third thing, we promised that all the children born in, at least one person born in the poorest of the poor family, irrespective of their caste and creed, shall study in foreign countries like you all. Yes, it is possible. Why not? When union ministers' children, when chief ministers' children, when chief ministers' grandchildren, when they can study IB schools, when they can study in international universities, why not poorest of the poor children? They also must have all the access to the best possible education in this world. Not at their cost, it will be at state cost. Government, if we are voted power, government will pay for the education of all these people. It is very important, my dear friends. Fourth thing, what we have promised, all the government contracts which are running into lakhs and lakhs of crores of rupees will be distributed among the poor people according to their percentage of population. I'll tell you one example. I went to a place called Khammam. So Khammam is a district through which Godavari flows. On the banks of Godavari, there are so many sand dumps, because Godavari is a river, and then it's not a perennial river, so only in monsoon season you get full water, otherwise it's generally dry, and there is only a small stream. And all these landlords, the mafia run by the ruling party MLAs, they go there and then they take the licenses and they mine the entire sand and then send it to Hyderabad, because Hyderabad is like your Dallas, like Atlanta. It's the most happening place. They send all the sand to Hyderabad. And you know how much they earn every day? All these sand dumps, 25 lakhs rupees. And how much? And all these are tribal constituencies. And how much, you know how much average tribe earns in these areas? 250 rupees per day. 250 rupees is just, not even $3 full. So they earn 250 rupees per day. On the other hand, these landlords, in cahoots with the mafia, they earn 25 lakhs in these sand dams. Why this property should not be redistributed? That's why we promise that if we are voted to power, all the prosperity, all the access, all the opportunities will be divided according to their proportion in the population. This is very important. Now take the case of backward classes. Backward classes include BCA, B, BCC, BCD, BCE. All these backward classes, they constitute 50% of Telangana population. You know what is their percentage in public representatives? Just 22 out of 120. They are just 22, wherein they are supposed to be 60 people, but there are only 22. We promised that if we are voted to power, then we are going to give 50% of the representation for classes. Why not? Why not? So, if we are voted to power, we are going to establish one school, one residential school at least in Mandal, in one Mandal with all international standards all at government cost. All at government cost. Today, our children, as we speak here in Atlanta, today our children in our country have no textbooks in most of the schools. There are no notebooks supplied by the government. There are teacher vacancies in the schools. Imagine if how the children can study. There are no proper toilets. Then where will they? Many girls, they don't go to school because there are no toilets. Then how do you manage? Then how do you realize your dreams? So we said this is not going to happen in our rule. So we are going to invest most of the money on education only, because education is the most important input that can transform the generations. Then we also promised, it looks very weird, but we also promised that there will be a Bahujan Film City. Bahujan Film City, where all the people belonging to the oppressed communities will be trained as film actors, film directors, and then they will create their own Hollywood. Why not? Why should there be only one or two communities minting a lot of money in entertainment industry? Why not? I'm just talking about one example. So like that, we are going to democratize. We are going to give access to all poor people to all the, all the industries, all the domains where you have equal opportunity to make money. I'll tell you one example. So in social welfare, then, we, in northern India particularly, when you ride the horse, people throw stones at you. When you marry in northern India, you have to, ride a horse, ride a mare, and then, you have to go in a barat. It's called as barat procession. When scheduled caste people, when scheduled tribe people, when they ride the horses, people throw stones at them. You don't deserve to be riding a horse. You're not supposed to ride the horse. Then they're stoned to death. So much so that even senior police officers, when they get married, they go to, if they belong to these communities, they go to local police station and seek protection. That is the condition. But when I took over as social welfare secretary, I said, this is not going to happen. So I called all the people, I called the sports department and bring as many horses as possible, tie up with the horse riding schools, and then let all girls and boys ride the horses for 3 weeks. Yes. It is not just symbolism. Not just symbolism. You have to give wings to dreams. You have to have the courage to give those wings. You have to have the courage to help people to realize those dreams. Like somebody was a Sainik school student. I think Sridhar was Sainik school student. No, we didn't have Sainik schools. And Sainik schools, only the high and mighty people have been going as officers. I said, no. How is it possible? Then why not scheduled castes and scheduled tribes? Why not BCs? Then I said, start a Sainik school for them. Then our people came to me, sir, there is no rule. Let's create a rule. That's what Indian Constitution says. Let's create a rule. Even after creating a rule, if you are punished, then let's go to jail. You have not done any crime. You are giving wings to the dreams of people. Then we created Sainik schools. And today, one of the fighter jet pilots who flies 1300 crores worth plane is from our school. I'm very happy to share with you, madam. Our kids, our girls, whose parents are working as coolies, today work for a famous social media company, Twitter, and then those girls are earning 25 lakhs per annum. But for education, they would have been married by now. This is what happens when you have all the power. I've told you in the beginning itself, I'm telling you again, I am not here to enjoy all the comforts. I've seen the best in my life. I'm happy with what I'm getting as a pension. So I'm not worried about the comforts, but I'm worried about the comforts of those billions of people who do not have the, advantage or the opportunity to get into those zones and then live like people, you and me. So friends, what can you do for that? So this is the last thing that I'm going to share with you. What can you do? You can discuss about this. You can discuss about this in all platforms. You can come together. We have been divided, subdivided. Even in this country, we have been living in our own bubbles. Although we share the same story, share the background, although our ancestors had the common pain, but still we came here and then we started living in our own bubbles. And today there is a need to break the bubble. Today there is a need to come together. Today there is a need to form the network and share the stories. Share the stories in such a way that your children understand the pain of your ancestors. Children understand the dreams, unfulfilled dreams, which were buried with them. And children feel the need. Children feel the need, urgent need of, carrying the legacy or taking your legacy forward, taking the baton forward from you. So that is very important. You have to come together and then meet as often as possible, like you all doing today. Meet as often as possible, breaking all the barriers. You might be a Christian, you might be a Muslim, or you might be a Hindu, or you might be SC, or you might be ST, you might be BC. It doesn't matter. As long as you believe in power of education, power of health, power of self-employment, power of, feeling independent, power of liberty of thought, power of fraternity. So that's enough to come together. This is very important, friends. Number two, you all can talk to your relatives back home and tell them what they should do. Tell them that they should not be bought over. Tell them that they should not fall for the petty temptations of one beer bottle and sell the vote, 1,000 rupees and sell the vote, or 3 saris and sell the vote, or somebody comes and touches your feet and then you become so humble and then you sell your vote. Tell your relatives back home not to fall for that. Number 3, mentor people back home so that they also follow your path. Number 4, give your out-of-box ideas. You all have your intellectuals. You are the best gene pool our oppressed people have ever imagined. So you are the best people. You are the intellectuals. That's what Kanshiram ji said. The Bahujan Samaj Party or any party that espouses the cause of social justice is the party of intellectuals. It is run by intellectuals. You are those intellectuals. You are those jewels in the crown of our motherland. So you have to give us the ideas, out-of-box ideas. You have to give us the ideas because the other side have the deeper pockets to get the best brains available. And they go to IITs, they recruit. They go to NITs, they recruit. They go to international agencies, they recruit people. And then why do they recruit people? There is a guy called Prashant Kishore in India. All the political parties are hiring him. You know why? Because so that they can stay in power perpetually. We don't have those deeper pockets to hire people like that. So today it is your responsibility to guide us. to give us all your, because you are a non-participant observer. You are sitting here, but you are observing the things that are happening in your motherland. So friends, please give us out-of-box ideas. Then the last one, if you have any penny, you can donate this to the movement called social justice, a movement called Bahujan movement, so that we can run for. We are not going to buy the votes, but you need money for diesel, you need money for food for the cadre, you need money for training, so on and so forth. You need money for propaganda, so on and so forth. But anyway, that's, we are not here to collect the funds. We are not here. Certainly, I want to tell you very emphatically, I'm not here in the US to collect the funds. I'm here in the US to make you aware that your motherland requires your time and talent. Friends, nothing is impossible. Kanshiramji made it is possible. Never before Kanshiram. Even this nation has the sad history of defeating Dr. B.R. Ambedkar when he fought for office. So, but Kanshiramji made it possible that if we work hard, if we work with a plan, if we have that perseverance, if we have that camaraderie, we can defeat the ruling classes. We are going to prove that in Telangana. With your support, we are going to prove in Telangana. ఇది కొండ చిలువలకు చలిచీమలకు మధ్యలో జరుగుతున్న యుద్ధం. ఈ యుద్ధంలో చలిచీమలు గెలవాలి, గెలుస్తాయి కూడా. ఒక్క చలిచీమ గెలవలేదు కొండ చిలువలతో పోరాడినప్పుడు. లక్షల మంది చలిచీమలు ఒక దగ్గరికి వస్తే బలవంతుడైన సర్పం చలిచీమల చేత చిక్కి చావదే సుమతి అని ఒక పద్యం ఉంది. అదే విధంగా ఇది ఆ గొప్ప ఆశయానికి అహంకారానికి మధ్యలో జరుగుతున్న యుద్ధం. This is a fight between the rulers who have been habituated to eat public money and the people who are fighting for a cause. We must win. ఇది కొడవళ్ళు పట్టుకొని కూలీలు చేస్తున్న తల్లులకు, అదే విధంగా కోట్ల రూపాయలు మెక్కుతున్న రాబందులకు మధ్యలో యుద్ధం. ఆ యుద్ధంలో కొడవళ్ళు పట్టుకున్న తల్లి వాళ్ళు, కొడవళ్ళు పట్టుకున్న చేతులతోనే మన బిడ్డలు కోడింగ్ భాష నేర్చుకోవాలి. డప్పులు కొట్టిన చేతులతోనే డాలర్లు కూడా సంపాదించాలి. చెప్పులు కుట్టిన చేతులతోనే చరిత్ర తిరగరాయాలి. కళ్ళు గీసిన చేతులతోనే కంప్యూటర్ ఇంజనీర్లు కూడా కావాలి. రాళ్ళు కొట్టిన చేతులతోనే భవన నిర్మాణ కంపెనీలు కూడా పెట్టాలి మన బిడ్డలు. మిత్రులారా, దిస్ ఈజ్ a great dream. You all have to make this happen. It's not just you, not just me, all of us. Together we can achieve this dream. Nothing is impossible. Don't ever get overawed by the ruling classes. They are just paper tigers. We are the tigers, and then we can do it. With these few words, thank you very much once again. You have been a great audience, and I thank you. I thank all the people who made this journey very, very memorable. And then mark my words, this day in Atlanta, this day, this year, this long weekend in Atlanta is going to be written with golden letters in the history of our country, that on this particular day in Atlanta, hundreds of people gathered along with their families and resolved that, like what Martin Luther King resolved, that we are not going to give up our right to be treated as equals. Today we have Luther King, like Rosa Parks, like Edward Dubai, like Malcolm X. We are going to resolve today that we are going to be treated as equals, not superior, not inferior, just as equals, like Abraham Lincoln said. Today we are living that moment. We are living that moment, and this is our moment. And we should power that moment. Thank you very much, my dear friends. Jai Bhim and Jai Bharat.
Check.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. S Praveen Kumar, for that. Please stay here. We are going to start a Q&A. And so that's the...
Please have your seat. Thank you.
Please have a seat. And that's a powerful speech. Thank you for reminding us once again, and also challenging us to come out of the comfort zone. and think about our motherland. So at this time, we'll start Q&A session, Andy. So I know you may have a lot of questions. You want to know about RSP's vision and also any open questions. So this is all. So with that, I would like to invite John, Sunita, and Sridevi Garu. They are going to help with collecting the questions. Basically, they will come to you. If you can raise your hand. John is going to go over the rules. But before that, if any of uh, children, if we have, we are going to serve the food for the children only. Just please give us a few minutes. Once we are done with the Q&A, we will start the dinner. Dinner is ready. We'll start very quickly. But if any children are here, parents, please feed them. You can go ahead and get the food and go back to your seat. And without any delay, we'll start the Q&A session.
A quick reminder, friends. If you are compelled by his invitation and you want to be part of his mission, and he is actually running zero budget politics. When he joined in Nalagonda, over 2 lakh people came, not a single rupee spent to move the people. If you compel, if your heart says what to do, and please donate to him. You can donate online, RSP number 4 es.org, RSP 4 es.org, and you can also reach out to the leads in Atlanta, leads in different cities, and you can contribute whatever you want, possible way you want. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start Q&A session now.
Good evening, young people. Thank you, RSP sir, for sharing your knowledge, inspiring us. Thank you very much. We have few house rules for the Q&A session. The objective is to learn more about RSP sir's vision, his schemes, and how he's going to implement. So let's be specific with our questions. And each person gets only one chance to ask the question. This is not a debate. So you get only one chance to ask the questions, and 2 mics are in the house, and it's very convenient for you to request for a mic. If you want to ask a question, just raise your hand. Is that cool? Is that okay? No, not okay? Is that okay? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And few reasons why you should ask question is because RSP sir won't feel bad if you ask a question. Is that okay?
No, but
You
don't
won't-
ask the question just for the heck of it.
Right. So
If you really have a question, let them ask. Otherwise,
absolutely.
that's okay.
Let's all save each other's time.
Yeah.
He won't feel bad if you ask a question. So just go ahead and ask
And
a
I'll
question.
answer only if I have an answer.
Okay, thank you. A quick change in the plan, Andy. So I know it's getting very late. I definitely want all of us to have a dinner. While this question and answer is going on, I want people who are all interested and have questions, please stay here. But otherwise, I would like to start from that table. Please
Yes.
slowly go, get your food, and come back. Just follow the order. I don't want everybody to just crowd there, and we will not have a good Q&A session here. So from that table, please slowly go, get your food, get back to your table. If you have a question, you can stay or you can come back and ask the question. And yeah, this time I also would like to just recognize Sakru Nayak and Sai visiting us from North Carolina. Brothers, please. If anyone else visiting
you.
outside of Atlanta, I really appreciate. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Okay, floor is all yours. Please raise a hand if you want to ask a question. Can somebody hand over a mic to our brother? Thank you.
Sir,
Yeah, it's working.
yeah. Sir, I forgot to ask one question in DC meet.
Yes, please.
But today you raised another question for me. You said you're going to give the lands to the tribal people. Okay. So all these years, the governments are giving lands to the tribal people, but they do not have any rights on the land. Okay, so you are giving means, are you going to issue a patta paper on the names? And
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
and
Emphatic yes.
okay.
Bold, italic, underline, and the 72. We are
Thank you
going
so
to give
much.
pattas.
And another thing is in Telangana, we have Parampoku land. Okay. So in earlier days, the government given those lands to the poor people. Okay, but they do not have registered on their name. So are you going to register on the names too?
Yes and yes.
Okay. And other question is, I'm requesting you to conduct a big meeting, the public meeting in Telangana, by calling all the good mindset people like you, like J.D. Lakshminarayana, Akunuru Murali, and all these great people to share stage with you. Will that be possible?
It is possible, and we have been sharing with them, the dais, wherever there was a possibility, and then we'll come to that.
No, it's not. It's not very. We want to give a strong message to the public.
Public, okay.
Okay, so all
Sure,
like-minded
sure.
people have a one stage to share with one stage to give a speech to the society that will bring some change to the people.
That's a great idea. We'll do that.
Thank you so
Definitely. Thank you. That's a very good idea.
Thank you. Appreciate the question. Thank you, sir, for the answer. Another suggestion, keep your question succinct, probably less than a minute. Thank you. Your name, sir? Sashikant.
Yes,
Thank you.
Shashikant, please go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, why not? You can call me Anna, you can call me Tami, I don't mind. Yeah, Shashikant, please go ahead.
Actually, this is a great idea. But right?
I think Shashikant, I am not able to hear you. Voice is
Hello?
breaking. Voice is breaking. Yeah.
Yeah, Anna, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all our Bahujan's burden on your shoulders. My question is, I mean, the main thing in our society, the 10 Commandments is the great idea.
Thank you.
Is lifted so many lives. So do we have 10 commandments for all Bahujans? Especially, we shall not sell our votes.
We shall not
sell our votes. Votes. Selling votes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And the second thing, especially on caste system, this caste system is made by the humans, not by the divine. That kind of a rule should be passed on to this in your commands. And Ambedkar is a true national leader. He worked for actually the nation. And how can we make it a true national leader? How other people, everybody should understand as a national leader.
A great question. If we can, if every home can make one Ambedkar, I think it would be a great idea. We don't have to make Baba Saheb as a national leader. He automatically becomes not just national leader; he'll become a universal leader if we live his values. So my complaint on, not complaint, my observation has been, we are very busy very innocently, not because of any hidden agenda. We have been very busy in building the statues for Ambedkar, but we are not living the values of Ambedkar. That has been the problem in the entire evolution of this Ambedkar's thought and ideology. So you go to any poorest of the poor locality in India, particularly the scheduled castes and to some extent scheduled tribes, and nowadays slowly BC communities also. So a lot of statues are coming up. That's good. But do we really live the values of the statue? Do we really live the life of Ambedkar? Do we really understand the liberty of thought, justice, fraternity, and the sense of equality? We don't. We don't have the same equality in our own home. We don't give the liberty to our kids to think in a different way. So I think the most important thing is we all have to live the life of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Then automatically becomes a universal leader. So today, there is already a conspiracy. I have already told you that to restrict Ambedkar to only one particular community in this country. I have already told you. I shared my experience in Dallas last night. So the more and more intellectual in this country, and the more and more the resistance to or the conspiracy to box you, to corner you. So, but if a number grows, if you become huge numbers, like if you become a multitude which cannot be counted, and you live like Ambedkar, I think no force on the earth. Don't forget about India. No force on the earth can stop you. So if you run a campaign to make Ambedkar as a national leader, it's not going to help. But if you live the values of Ambedkar, then definitely automatically is going to become national leader. Yes, once you start understanding Ambedkar's life and journey, not Ambedkar, Kanshiram, automatically you become a ruler. After you become a ruler, then what would you do? Will you not make Ambedkar as a national leader, international leader? You will definitely work towards that end. So it's very important to understand his life and vision and live that vision. That is my challenge, and that is my aspiration. Thanks, Shashi, for asking.
Thank you,
this
sir.
question. It's a very important question because a lot of people have been running the campaign to make Ambedkar as national leader. We want Ambedkar's photograph on Indian national rupee, but that's not the ruling classes are not going to accept your demands. That's why I'm saying you are 85%. Why is that you are not becoming ruler yourself? You are 85%. You're forgetting that you have all the capacity to become a ruler, and you're not doing. When I say you, the people of 85%, but they are allowing themselves to be divided, subdivided, caste, subcaste, religion, and sub-subcaste, and whatnot. So come together. That's what Kanshiram has said and then proved. We all just need to follow the rule book of Kanshiram. That's it. That's a great idea. We will make the first commandment should start with I shall not sell my vote. Thanks for giving this great idea. This is what I want. This is what I want from people from the US, because you're all intellectuals. You at least you have the liberty to think what you feel like thinking and liberty to say what you feel like saying. So please give us those great ideas. I really love that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please keep your questions short. Please. Thank you.
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్ అండ్ అందరికీ నమస్కారం. నా పేరు జనార్దన్ పన్నెల. బ్యాక్ హోమ్ వచ్చేసి నాది నిర్మల్ డిస్ట్రిక్ట్, ఖానాపూర్ మండల్, సింగాపూర్ విలేజ్. ఐ బీన్ లివింగ్ ఇన్ యూఎస్ 18 years. I'm a special educator and also rehabilitation psychologist. First of all, sir, thank you so much for coming to Atlanta. And thank you, Jayakar garu. వెరీ ఇన్స్పైరింగ్ స్పీచ్ సార్. అంటే మీలాగానే నేను కూడా ఒక చిన్న మారుపులం గ్రామం, సింగాపూర్ అనే విలేజ్. మొట్టమొదలుగా నక్సలైట్లు మందుపాత్ర వెళ్ళినటువంటి ప్రాంతం ఏంటంటే సింగాపూర్ విలేజ్, ఉమ్మడి ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో. సో ఈరోజు నేను ఈ స్థాయిలో ఉన్నానంటే ఎడ్యుకేషన్. సో ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇస్ ద స్ట్రాంగెస్ట్ వెపన్. ఐ బిలీవ్ ఇట్ చేంజ్ యువర్ లైఫ్. మీరు సోషల్ వెల్ఫేర్ స్కూళ్ళలో రీఫార్మ్ తీసుకొచ్చిన విధానం కూడా రీసెంట్గా నేను మొన్న ఒక 3 weeks బ్యాక్ కూడా ఇండియాకి వెళ్ళాను. ఐ మెట్ మై నెఫ్యూస్. The way they are speaking in English, I was very inspiring. సో అదంతటి కూడా కారణం ఏంటంటే మీరు తెచ్చినటువంటి రిఫార్మ్ సార్. అండ్ మా మామయ్య గారు కూడా హెడ్ మాస్టర్ వచ్చేసి కన్నా సార్, అండ్ వాళ్ళ కొడుకు వచ్చేసి ఆర్ఎస్ సార్, మన సుజన్ నాకిడే వచ్చేసి ఐఆర్ఎస్. రైట్ నౌ హీస్ ఇన్ చండీగఢ్. సో వారు ఎప్పుడు కూడా మీ గురించి చాలా మాట్లాడుతుంటారు. సో థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ సార్. యు ఆర్ టేకింగ్ దిస్ పాత్ టు చేంజ్ మిలియన్స్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ లైఫ్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Gangana is a very good friend of ours and a very committed worker. Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is Uday.
You are Uday, right?
Yeah, I am Uday. Nowadays, any propaganda or any activity that is done on internet or social media, and there is a big ideological war campaign is going on from the ruling party and people behind that. It is very difficult and very dangerous, the game they are playing now. The ideological war Dr. Ambedkar did to protect our rights through constitution, they are questioned now by these intellectual, so-called intellectual, who are going to derail all the developments we did through Ambedkar's effort. So it's very important to have a band of army of people to fight all the propaganda or any measures they are taking against you or your efforts through social media. So do you have a plan?
Yes.
Or do you have already established some group people to fight against any of those, anything they bring on table to fight with you indirectly?
That's what, not why indirect, direct.
They are fighting very indirectly. They are
Yeah,
all.
we will also fight indirectly and directly. That's what I'm doing. That's what I do every day. Every day we do the same thing. See, your question is very relevant and very pertinent. And that is a plan of RSS, for example.
Yes, that
And
is right.
that is a plan of BJP, for example.
That's right.
Just to give you the latest example. So I have been touring the US to awaken Bahujans in this country about the need for, guiding the Bahujan movement in India. So, and then somebody started a fictitious story in that WhatsApp university saying that I went to Philadelphia and then I desecrated the gods of Madigas. So back home, and then that's why all Madigas should, sue Praveen Kumar. This is what they said. I did not even conduct a meeting in Philadelphia. You can see there. I had just did in Philadelphia. So, but how come poor people in the village, they know, then they also said Philadelphia is a state, whereas Pennsylvania is a state. Philadelphia happens to be one of the major cities in Pennsylvania. So, who is creating all this? The WhatsApp university, run by their network. My request to you is, today, you have to stand up to them. You are not, that's why I said 10 commandments are very important. You are not inferior to them. We shall be the leaders. We shall lead the fight. Whether it is Alaska, whether it is Louisiana, whether it is Dallas, whether it is Atlanta, whether it is Charlesville, whether it is Boston, whether it is New Hampshire, whether it is South Dakota, North Dakota, Australia, England, Europe, Yugoslavia, wherever you go, you should stand up to them and say, look, we are there everywhere. Like you are trying to misguide the entire nation by twisting the history, by planting the seeds of hatred. We are going to stand up to you. I don't have any army. You are our army. You asked a very, very innocent question that do you have an army? Yeah. We are all army. You are army. Yes. Ambedkar will not come back, brother. Ambedkar is not going to come back. Then Kanshiram is not going to come back. Then it is very unfair to call them back. They have left this world. They gave you the pathway. It is very unfair to call them back. So we all have to come together. We have to devise a strategy. Nobody can be more intellectually sound than you, sitting in front of a computer.
We know the pain. We can represent
Absolutely. Better. Be the warrior. Create your own army. Then fight those forces who are spreading hatred. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next question, please.
Yes, Sridhar.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. This is related to the identity that we discussed previously. So, identity that the children got motivated. But politics is primarily you have constitutions, you have an MLA or an MP or kind of a thing, right? So one of the fundamental problem that I have noticed in Indian politics is that, when you select a candidate, that's primarily dependent on how much wealth you have, because the money plays a very key role. But for a party for a leader like you to move forward with a different ideology, right? So how are you going to choose the delegates or what do you call that, MLA candidates for the election? Because I think that's one of the important factors that's going to play, because you need to replicate 120 or 130 Dr. RSPs, same ideology, character that they can. And how isn't that a Herculean task for you to
It
do?
is indeed a Herculean. Thanks for asking this question. It is indeed a Herculean task. But however, the answer for this question is a candidate is selected on not on just the money. Money sometimes is not at all a factor. So, but candidates in parties like ours are generally selected based on their commitment to the movement, Bahujan movement, and their hard work. Number two, their popularity among people. So, a person, how he or she becomes popular by working hard for the people. Number three, by the results of the surveys that we make, so we go to people and then we ask the people who can be the better rate in your constituency. And fourth is, can he garner the resources to at least write on the walls, then print the posters, make the handbills, and then go to people, and then, can he or she mobilize funds to move from place A to place B during the campaigning? If these four things are met, I think our candidate is selected. So we are not going to buy the votes like ruling classes. Like the other parties, what happens is they give 2,000 rupees per vote. They give 2 bottles of beer, or they in Hujurabad by-election, our government, the ruling party TRS had spent 1,000 crores for just one election. So we are not going to do that. That is unethical, immoral, and we don't want to waste public money like that. So if our candidates meet these four criteria that I have just mentioned, our candidate is selected.
And one other question. This is again education, the percentage of education, right? I mean, if you see states like Kerala or
Yeah.
Delhi, the population is more educated. It's easy to idealize, spread the word of what we believe. But then when it comes to Telangana, what are statistics of educated people versus uneducated, and how is that going to make
Very
a
good question. Very good question. Great question. I have already said in my inaugural remarks that in Telangana, the population is 3.77 crores, out of which 1.8 crores do not know how to read and write. Roughly 45%, you can say. So they do not know how to read and write. That's a challenge. That's the reason why we are going to people directly. We are asking all our cadres to go to people directly, tell them the evil effects of buying their vote. It's not going to be easy. Let me tell you, the parties, the ruling parties, the parties run by dominant communities have habituated, make the people addict, have made the people get addicted to selling the votes. So for liquor, for saris, for money, for whatnot, everything. So it is very difficult to de-addict them, but we are not going to give up. That is a challenge. That's why we are appealing to the young generation to educate their parents to not to sell their votes. So we have a hope in young generation, because all the people who are following Bahujan ideology, most of them are young people. The old people, we need to really work with them for about 9 to 10 times, and it's going to be a challenge. So that's why, as you pointed out in your own in our remarks, like Ashok Bula also has mentioned, like you. So, and then the same thing, Jaikar also mentioned. Say, it's not going to be a one-day war. It's going to be a long-drawn war, and we are ready for that. We should be ready for it. So we should not expect the results overnight. But we are not going to give up. There, as I said, our 10th commandment says we shall never give up. We are not going to give up. There are no reverse gates, and we will not rest till we make poor people as rulers. This is my commitment and promise to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Tirupati, yeah.
So poor people will be benefited by education. There is no doubt at all. So everything, all in everything. On other hand, like yes, even educated people are under corruption. How to make the educated people not go under corruption?
Very difficult question. In practice, it's not going to be easy. It's very difficult to convince educated person. Sometimes, not all. Again, it militates against the same statement that I've just answered. So Then what is education? Like, if educated people are taking money and then voting for the people who, take the money, take the beers, take the liquor, take the whiskey, and then vote for the people. So who are causing damage to them, they are not educated at all. So we need to educate the educated as well. So we are going to educated people also. So they are not truly educated. If educated sell their vote, then they are not educated. They are illiterates. They know only how to read and write. Thank you.
Sir, next question. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Dr. RSP Garu.
Yes,
First of
sir.
all, I would like to really appreciate you. I was blown away by the AV and your speech on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for
Sir, I'm not
taking time.
just sorry to interrupt you. I'm not a motivational speaker. So don't get me wrong. I just spoke truth. And I just shared with you what I had seen in my journey, life journey. So in my parents, I took the snippets of my parents' journey and then shared with you. Anyway, please go ahead, sir. Sorry to interrupt.
But I was blown away. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
Coming from a family of educators, I myself am an educator. So you have taken a bold step. You know, uh, you seem like a dolphin who already jumped in the well of sharks. So how are you going to survive these dirty ponds?
Sir, I didn't get the last point.
Like you already jumped in a tank of sharks.
Yes.
You seem like a dolphin to me. How are you going to survive dirty politics?
So I watched a video where band of 10 lions attack an elephant, and then elephant survives. So it's a perseverance, and you need to have very creative ways of you need to multiply your numbers, so and then attack the sharks. So it's possible.
Continuation of that, like United Andhra Pradesh never allowed any other party besides Congress.
Yes.
Then in 8 days, like Telugu Day.
Yes. Yes.
But afterwards, it has a history of not allowing outside parties.
Yes. Very good.
So what's your plan?
Very good
How are you going
observation.
to
I really love that observation. It's a very good observation. United Andhra Pradesh has the history of making it binary generally, either this or that. So this time we are going to challenge that, because in the last 75 years, only a few communities in this state of both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, so undivided Andhra Pradesh, have ruled in 75 years. Nowhere the poorest of the poor got the chance, although their numbers are more than 80%. So this is what we are taking to masses, and then this is what we are going to challenge. So as Sridhar has pointed out, so how are we, going to compete with the people who have deeper pockets? You call them as sharks, and they call us as dolphins. So that requires a very, very creative strategy. And then we have to go to people. Most of the people who have failed to bring a third friend are the people who never stayed with the masses. They stayed with the masses for a while and then they compromised. So your doggedness, your uncompromising attitude, your perseverance will only make the change. So otherwise, third friend will remain as a mirage. So that's why we need to be persistent. We need to be with the people. We need to be fighting for the people. We need to be, taking up the cause of people continuously. Not just like, for example, somebody mentioned about Jay Prakash Narayan, a celebrated bureaucrat who started a party. Then he became an MLA. Then after he lost the elections, then he gave up. So that should not be the case of a politician. So you should continue to fight. Then wins or losses are common in politics. And when you go to a peak, then you should not feel elated. When you go to a valley, you should not feel frustrated. So you have to be ready for both the things. But that's a very good observation. I really love it. Thank you, sir.
We assure you that our support is with you as well as our prayer.
And please pray for us.
Sure.
Your prayers matter a lot. Thank you.
Okay, quick announcement, Andy. So we'll take a quick break.
Yes,
Maybe.
I want to sit.
So yeah, we'll take a quick break, and I want everyone to please go ahead and grab your food.
Actually, when we were ushered into Sridhar's home, so ma'am, had you not given us coffee, I would have crashed into the bed. We were so tired. So we slept at 1:30 a.m. last night. Okay. Then morning, due to some technical difficulties, we missed the flight. And it gave a lot of anxious moments for the organizers in Atlanta, like brother and everybody, Jacker and everybody. So finally, we could catch the flight thanks to Uma and everybody. So, so by the time we came here, and in that heat, I forgot to call my wife also. So the moment I saw your home, so we felt like crashing to bed and then taking rest. But anyway, so I need to take rest. So thank you very much once again. Yeah.
Thank you. We will continue.
Thank you, Atlanta. You have been a great audience. I really love you, and then I have no words. Thank you.
Thank you all. Please go ahead and get your food, and so then we'll continue. And we will have a group photo. Everyone, please stay back. We'll take a group picture. We definitely want everyone to be in that picture. So please don't leave, and we'll have a group picture after the dinner. Okay, this is Aarti. Are you ready for this with the song? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Put. Hello. Yeah, while we are all taking food and please pay attention also. Aarti Chavan is going to present a song. I'll request Aarti to come forward.
Good evening, everyone. What a wonderful evening this turned out to be, and we are so blessed and honored to have RSP serve among us. Before this evening ends, I'm just going to sing a song. This is a Telugu song. My first language is not Telugu, so if I mispronounce something or make some mistake, please excuse me.
Scared.
Huh?
I'm scared.
Don't be scared. Just
Okay,
let
close
it
the
be.
windows, guys.
Close the windows. Just let it be.
Don't.
I'm not turning the car on.
Jesus Christ.
I think we got our money's worth.
Oh God, Jamal.
సమత మమతలు పంచి జనులు హితము కోరిన గౌతమ కులము మతముల మరిచి పడుగుల ఒకటి చేసిన బౌద్ధమ సమత మమతలు పంచి జనులు హితము కోరిన గౌతమ కులము మతముల మరిచి పడుగుల ఒకటి చేసిన బౌద్ధమ సామ్యవాదకు గలలు కన్నా సమ సమాజకు నేత్రమా మనుషులందరూ ఒక్కటినని సాటినావు మహాత్మా జోయి బాపులే జోహారు జోహారు మా జాతికే వెలుగు దీపమైనారు మా బడుగులకు మీరు మరిచి పడుగుల ఒకటేసిన బౌద్ధమా మణువునేమో మాకు చూపి మూల పాతుల గొంతును లిపి కులకు బూరవతరించి రాజమును మీరను కవి ఎంత కాలము ఈ వివక్ష ఎదురు తిరిగిన యోధుడా ఎంత కాలము ఈ వివక్ష ఎదురు తిరిగిన యోధుడా ప్రేమ జాలి కరుణ త్యాగం కలిసి నడిసిన బుద్ధుడా జ్యోతి బాపులే జోహారు జోహారు మా జాతికి వెలుగు దీపమైనారు మా వెలుగులకు మీరు అయినారు సమత మమతలు పంచి జనలు హితమ కోరిన గౌతమ కులము మతముల మరిచి పడుగుల ఒక్కటి చేసిన బౌద్ధమా రంగు రంగుల ఇంద్రధనుజే వంగిపోవ సత్యము నిండియోని నిగనిగలకు నీలి రంగే నిత్యము మార్పు కోరిన సూర్యుడు ఇక తూర్పు దిక్కే మార్పు కోరిన సూర్యుడా ఇక తూర్పు దిక్కే మాదిరా బడుగులకు బలహీనులకు ఆరాధ్య దైవం నీవురా జ్యోతి బాపులే జోహారు జోహారు మా జాతికే వెలుగు దీపమైనారు మా బడుగులకు మీరు బాపువైనారు సమత మమతలుంచి జనులు హితము కోరిన గౌతమ కులము మతముల మరిచి పడుగుల ఒకటి చేసిన బౌద్ధమా
Sorry about my voice. I'm feeling very dry in my throat.
హలో మైక్ టెస్టింగ్ 1 2 3. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను పాడబోయే పాట ఒకటి ఏంటంటే సార్ చెప్పిన దాంట్లో ఒకటి 10 కమాండ్స్లలో రీపే అంటే మనం మామూలుగా మనకి తల్లిదండ్రుల నుంచి వచ్చింది గురువుల నుంచి వచ్చింది కూడా మనం పంచుకున్న జ్ఞానాన్ని మళ్ళీ సమాజంలో అందరికీ కూడా ఎస్పెషల్లీ పీపుల్ హూ ఈజ్ ఇన్ పావర్టీ అనుకుందాము ఎంపవర్ లేని వాళ్ళు అనుకుందాం వాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా మనకి సంపాదించినటువంటి జ్ఞానాన్ని వాళ్ళకి అందించి వాళ్ళందరినీ కూడా మనము మనలాగా తయారు చేయాలని చెప్పేసి చెప్పినటువంటిది 10 కమాండ్లో సార్ది ఆ పాట వచ్చేసి ఏమవ్వుతావని ఆకాశము నీకు గొడుగై నీడనిస్తుంది, ఏమవ్వుతావని భూతల్లి ఎదలపై నూరేళ్లు నున్నొస్తుంది. సాటివాడు సాయమైతే అందించే గుండెలేని మొండి గుణము కలిగిన నీవు ఏమవ్వుతావని, ఏమవ్వుతావని నీరు నిప్పు గాలి నీతోటి బంధమల్లింది, ఏమవ్వుతావని సృష్టి ఒడిలోని మనుగడను కాపాడుతుంది, ఏమవ్వుతావని పొద్దు పొడుపు నిన్ను ముద్దా నిద్ర లేపింది, ఏమవ్వుతావని పండు వెన్నెల నీకు జోకొట్టి జోల పాడింది, ఏమవ్వుతావని, ఏమవ్వుతావని సకల చరాచర జీవులు నీ తోడుగుంది, ఏమవ్వుతావని ఎన్ని చేసిన నిన్ను తన కడుపులో దాచుకుంది, ఏమవ్వుతావని విశ్వము తన నేలే అధిపతిను చేసింది, ఏమవ్వుతావని జీవకోటికి లేని జ్ఞానాన్ని నీకు ఇచ్చింది. పక్షులు వృక్షాలు పశు జంతు జాతులు పండలు కొండలు నీ బ్రతుకు బంధువులు ఏమవుతావని, ఏమవుతావని సకల చరాచర జీవులు నీ తోడుగుంది, ఏమవుతావని పంచభూతాలు నీ ప్రాణాల రక్షిస్తూ ఉంది. ఎందుకంటే ప్రకృతి మనకు అన్ని ఇచ్చింది కాబట్టి ఆ ప్రకృతిని కూడా మనం అందరం కాపాడాలి. తర్వాత పేద వాళ్ళకందరికీ కూడా మనం అందరం సాయం కోరుకుంటూ ట్రాక్ ప్లీజ్. ముసలి తాత ముడత ముఖం మురిసిపోయేనే, గుడిసె పాక గుడ్డి దీపం మెరిసిపోయేనే, అంచబన్న పక్కనున్న రాములోరి గుల్లో గంట రంగరంగ సంబరంగ మోగేనే, వచ్చాడయ్యో స్వామి నింగి సుక్కలతో గొరిగెత్తింది భూమి, ఇచ్చాడయ్యో స్వామి కొత్త రెక్కల్ని మొలకెత్తించే స్వామి నింగి సుక్కలతో గొరిగెత్తింది భూమి, స్వామి కొత్త రెక్కల్ని మొలకెత్తించే హామీ, కత్తి సుత్తి పలుగు పారా తీయండి మన కష్టం కుంకుమ బొట్టుగా పెట్టండి, ఓ అన్నం పెట్టే పనిముట్లే మన దేవుళ్ళు మన ఆయుధాల పూజలు చేద్దాం పట్టండి, అమ్మోరు కన్ను తెరిచిన నవరాత్రి ఇన్నాళ్ళ చీకటి తెల్లారే సమయం ఉందిరి, వచ్చాడయ్యో స్వామి నింగి సుక్కలతో కొరగెత్తి భూమి, ఓ ఇచ్చాడయ్యో స్వామి కొత్త రెక్కల్ని పకెత్తించే హామీ. గోడలు చెప్తాయి సీమ మనుషుల కష్టాలు, దారి కక్కులు చెప్తాయి పల్లె బ్రతుకుల చిత్రాలు, పండగొచ్చే ప్రతి ఒక్క పరుగు పుట్టి పెరిగిన పల్లె అసలైన పండుగ అంటే ఆ కంటికి రుతుడి
లేవగలిగిన పనివారు చెమట పట్టు తడిలోన తలుక్కుమంటది ప్రతి ఊరు వెలిగిపోతారు ఈ అందగాళ్ళు మానగల్లు కలిసిపోతారు ఎవరికన్నా తక్కువ ఉంటారు వీళ్ళందరిలాగా బాగా పట్టే హక్కులు ఉన్నోళ్ళు పలుకులు బతుకమ్మలని ఒట్టి చోల పాట పాడగా కళ్ళగిల్లు తలరాతలకు సాయమేదో చేయాలంట వచ్చాడయ్యో స్వామి నింగి సుఖంతో కొరికెత్తింది భూమి ఓ ఇచ్చాడయ్యో స్వామి ఈ కొత్త రెక్కల్ని మొలకెత్తించే హామీ థ్యాంక్ యూ
థ్యాంక్ యూ జనార్దన్ గారు. బిగ్ రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ అప్లాస్ ఫర్ జనార్దన్ గారు అండి. సో ఎట్ టైమ్ vote of thanks. There are so many people helped behind the scenes to conduct this program. I request Raju Tadgiri garu to give vote of thanks.
హలో ఎవ్రీవన్, ఒక్కసారి అటెన్షన్ ప్లీజ్, అటెన్షన్ ప్లీజ్. అటెన్షన్ ప్లీజ్. హలో హలో, ఓకే. ఐ వాంట్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ అటెన్షన్. ఒక్క 2 నిమిషాలు. ఇంత ఈవెంట్ అట్లాంటాలో ఎంతో శ్రమపడి లాస్ట్ 2 monthsగా ఈ ఈవెంట్ని ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి ఆర్ఎస్పి, గ్లోబల్ ఆర్ఎస్పి మెంబర్స్, లోకల్ టీమ్ మెంబర్స్ ఈ ఈవెంట్ని అరేంజ్ చేశారు. వీడ్ లైక్ టు థ్యాంక్ ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ వన్ who participated in this event. అయితే coming to education, I wanted to tell you 3 things. ఒకటి, ఎడ్యుకేషన్ యొక్క గొప్పతనం ఏంటంటే, నేను ఇక్కడ ఎగ్జిట్ 11 హాస్కో ఎదురు లోపలికి వెళ్తున్నాను. ఇద్దరు సంభాషణ నేను వింటా ఉన్నా. ఒక ఆవిడ ఒక ఆయన తోటి, సార్ నమస్కారం సార్, మీరు వచ్చారా ఇక్కడికి అంటారు. ఆ సన్నివేశం నా అటెన్షన్ సిక్ చేసింది. సో ఐ స్టార్టెడ్ లుకింగ్ ఎట్ అంటే ఆ కాన్వర్సేషన్ మీద నేను ధ్యాస. ఆవిడ అంటుంది, మా అబ్బాయి కూడా ఇక్కడే అమెరికాలో పనిచేస్తున్నాడండి అని. ఆయన కూడా మంచిదన్నారు, మాట్లాడుకున్నారు, వెళ్ళిపోయారు. తర్వాత కొంచెం దూరం వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత ఆయన్నాడు, మా ఆఫీసులో అటెండర్, ఈయన ఒక ఆఫీసర్, ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ ఆఫీసరు, ఆవిడ అటెండర్. అయితే వాళ్ళిద్దరు పిల్లలు అమెరికాలో ఇక్కడ ఒకే కంపెనీలో పనిచేస్తున్నారు. దే మెట్ ఎట్ టాస్కో. అండ్ యూ నో వై? హౌ? బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్. అదే ఎడ్యుకేషన్ లేకపోతే ఆ అటెండర్ కొడుకు ఇంకా ఇండియాలోనే ఏదో చేస్తూ ఉండేవాడు, బెటర్ లైఫ్ చూస్తుండేవాడు కాదు. దట్ ఈస్ వన్ థింగ్. సెకండ్ థింగ్, మనం పావర్టీ గురించి, క్యాస్ట్ సిస్టమ్ గురించి, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ అస్ వి హియర్
stories or we see them in movies. నా లైఫ్లో నేను రెండు చూశాను. ఒకటి, when I was studying engineering, మా హౌస్ ఓనర్, she fed their maid girl in the dog bowl. వాళ్ళ కుక్క తినినటువంటి చనిపోతే ఆ బౌల్ కడిగి ఆ బౌల్లో వాళ్ళ పనమ్మాయికి భోజనం పెట్టడం నేను చూసాను. ఐ వాజ్ సర్ప్రైజ్. అలాగే అదే ఫ్యామిలీ నుంచి నేను ఇంకోటి విన్నా. వాళ్ళ ఇంట్లో పాలు పెరుగు మిగిలిపోతే పాలేరుకు పెట్టరంట, పడేస్తారంట. ఎందుకంటే పాలేరుకి పొగరొట్టుద్దంట. ఇటువంటి సమాజం నుంచి మనం వచ్చాము. వి మూడ్ ఆన్, అమెరికాకు వచ్చాం. బట్ ఇటువంటి పరిస్థితి నుంచి చేంజ్ తీసుకురావాలంటే we will need somebody. I thank God for humanity. I thank God for creating Ambedkar. I thank God for Dr. RSP. అంబేద్కర్ గారి దగ్గర నుంచి ఎందరో బటాన్లు తీసుకొని ఫైనల్ ఆర్ఎస్పి గారు ఆ బటాన్ తీసుకున్నారు. సో హీఈస్ నాట్ a politician but is a leader. So what all we can do today is ఆయన ఆ చేంజ్ని ఇన్స్పైర్ చేసినప్పుడు when we walk out of this door, think how we can support this man, what we can do. ఒక్కసారి ఆలోచించండి. అదేవిధంగా ఫైనల్గా I'd like to thank everybody of you for joining your hand together in this effort to bring a historic change. I thank all global NRI members, supporters, sponsors, and well-wishers. I thank both the national and local team members for making this event successful. I also thank Purya Chauhan Garu and Uma Garu, as they wanted to encourage the local team by helping them lead the event here. Finally, I'd like to thank Brother Jacob Neela, Luke Pedapalli, Sunil Rayarala, Ashok Bola, Paul Punchtantram, John Panaganti, John Karne, Shashikant, Brother Suved, Kamal Kiran, and Brother Sandeep. Thank you all and have a good evening. And let us hope for a Obama, when he won the election, he said change came to the country. So I would like to say with RSP Garu, he initiated the change. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj Garu. So, I just going to trouble you for a few minutes. If you all can please come forward and we'll take